Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you're car shopping right now, or you will be in the next 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. If you are car shopping right now, or you will be in the next 6 months, type me in the comments. I'm here to talk to the people who are locked in, who care about their money for the next 30, 45 minutes about buying and leasing cars below market value. There's only three prices you can pay with any car. Market value, that's the price everyone pays. Negotiators pay market value. Above market value is people who just don't know how to negotiate at all, have no strategy. They're going to pay above market value. And then below market value. Below market value is reserved for the people with strategies, not negotiators. The reason we get below market deals is because we employ online strategies that are very easy to use, where we put dealers and banks against each other while we sit and relax at home. So start typing your questions. I do these live streams a couple days throughout the week to make sure you have all the answers you need to be able to buy, lease, and sell cars for the maximum money. And that's all we do here. So everything we'll be talking about is out of my new book. It's called It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated, and you can get your copy for the next 30 minutes. It's part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally $97, but if you get to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio before 30 minutes is up, you got yours for $24. It'll be in your inbox in 2 or 3 minutes. I also have a comment on YouTube or in the Facebook comments for you to activate your 75% off. That's everything we'll be talking about today. Let's go with the first question, Dolan. Let's get the show on the road. And let's get to some unlearning and relearning. Philly Speed, the last car I bought, the dealership wanted me to use their financing instead of my pre-approval. So we always let the dealership see if they can beat the financing we have, but we also come in prepared. And now you got to be careful now, because banks are now scamming. Banks are locking people in with hard credit pull pre-approvals. So they know that the people are hip to pre-approvals. And so I want you to pay very close attention to any company, dealership included, that tries to lock you in, because that's the exact opposite of what we do. We do not let banks and dealerships lock us in, because that prevents us from shopping their competition. And the way that you save the big money, not the hundreds, if you want to save the thousands, the 3,000s, the 5,000s, the 10,000s, and more, is you're putting dealers and banks against each other. That is the name of the game, and that allows you to save more money than you've ever saved without being you could be the world's worst negotiator. You could be a horrible negotiator, and putting dealers and banks against each other is going to be how you save more money than the best negotiator in the world. So we don't do pre-approvals unless they're soft credit pull. If they're soft credit pull, we'll use the pre-approval to budget, because the only purpose of a pre-approval is to budget. Who's a homeowner? Type me if you're a homeowner. You know you got a pre-approval, or you got pre-approved for your mortgage to budget. They told you, based on your credit, based on your income, you could afford this much house, 300,000, 400,000, 600,000. They told you this is what your interest rate would be. This is what your monthly mortgage payment would be with taxes and insurance. So the only purpose for pre-approvals is budgeting. So now, when you don't, the reason why I hate bad pre-approvals, in my book I call them restricted pre-approvals, is because, one, they're going to activate the rate shopping window. Thanks, Dawn. The rate shopping window is a period of time that the credit bureaus give you to let multiple banks and lenders access your credit with a hard pull to compete. So within a 14-day period, you can have 20 banks access your credit, give you their best rate, so that you know you got the best rate because you created competition. Now, once you activate the first hard pull, the clock starts ticking. The clock starts ticking. And when you start, even see, You think this is your bank. It's not your bank. You don't own it. We don't own these banks. These are for-profit companies. Just like somebody said to me the other day at the gym, hey, I went to my car dealer and they told me this. I said, you own a car dealership? He said, oh, no, no, no. I meant the dealership that sold me the car. Okay, use those words wisely because it's not your dealership and it's not your bank. These people would not even want to know you if you weren't giving them money. So now that you actually know the truth and you're aware of what that is, let's start putting these people against each other so you can find out that these people aren't truly your friend. So the way we do it, I have a strategy I call the bank bidding war. This is what the credit bureaus allow. Again, you can Google Experian rate shopping, and you'll see an entire blog post that Experian put together saying how they allow you to rate shop with the hard pull, and at the end of the window, as long as you have multiple lenders within that period of time, not multiple dealers, not dealers running your credit, lenders, independent lenders, banks, credit unions, you're fine. At the end of the window, it's going to weigh on your credit like one hard inquiry. So if one hard inquiry would have lowered your credit score 10 points, 20 hard inquiries are going to lower your credit score the same 10 points because they see you're shopping for your rate. You don't get penalized for being diligent. You get rewarded because they know if you're shopping for your rate, you care about the $2,000 and $3,000 and $5,000 in your loan that you could save by getting the best interest rate. So we do this after we find our car, Philly Speed, because once we find our car, first of all, let me say this one thing. We separate who we buy our car from who we get our loan from. These two different people, because whoever wins the bid gets our loan. Whoever wins the bid gets to sell us a car. It's not the same person. It's not the same companies. What's up, Sheila? Good to see you, Sheila. So this is so once we find the dealer who's going to sell us the car, they win the bid, used car, new car. We now lock that car up with a deposit. Now we come home, we do all our rate shopping online, banks, credit unions, online lenders. I have resources in my book where you have online credit unions. Let all these people compete. Then we call the dealer and we see if they can beat it. This is how we guarantee that we're not paying 7.2% interest when we could have been paying 5.9% interest. We're not paying 6.9 when we could have been paying 5.19. That's big money. And I know you haven't been taught that. You've been taught, oh, let me just focus on this, my monthly payment. That's one of the worst things you could do is being a payment shopper. Being a payment shopper, hey, give me the $400 a month for this car. We got a deal. That is one of the, and in fact, that's the first video I made on TikTok that really introduced me to the world. Is the worst thing you could do in a car dealership. Just say, get me to this payment, we got a deal. Payments they can manipulate. $400 a month on a loan is 5 years, $20,000 on a regular loan. There could be $30,000 on a lease, $35,000 depending on the car. On a lease, could be $18,000, $15,000 with bad credit. $400 a month. There's so many ways to get this $400 a month. So you don't want to be mixing these things. You want to separate your loan shopping from your car shopping. And it's easy when you're paying cash. Cash buyers don't make these mistakes. Cash buyers still overpay. They don't get, unless they're bidding, but they don't make the mistake of mixing their payments and thinking, wow, just because I got a good monthly payment means I got a good price on the car. Absolutely not. You could have a great monthly payment, but you paid a terrible price for the car. Two totally different things. That's why we separate them. Go ahead, Dolan. I see a lot of questions coming in. Let's go. We'll keep more coming. Let's go. You ever had bad? Okay, let's go to the next question. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Maybe there was a typo. Can you please let us know if there's any limits for gap insurance if I'm upside down? It depends on on the coverage. You need to find out the coverage. There are gap insurance policies that I've heard of that didn't cover the entire shortfall. So, for example, if your vehicle is worth $25,000, but you owe $30,000, you're upside down. If your vehicle gets stolen and not found or totaled, you're going to owe money. And I've seen this happen so many times throughout the years because people didn't get gap insurance. They'll literally total their car. And then so now you got a horrible life event that happened. You got into a car accident, and then you get a bill. You get a bill, and people are like, wow, where did I get this bill from? And it's like, your car was only worth 25, but your loan was 30. So if you're driving around in a car that does not have, that's not worth what you owe, but you don't have gap insurance, you're exposed. Something happens to that car, not only are you going to lose the car, you got a bill coming to you. So what I always say is, you got to know when you're upside down. You got to know when to get gap insurance. And you also have to know you don't have to buy it from the dealership. You can call your insurance company, see if they sell it. You can Google insurance companies that sell gap. Usually you can find it for a cheaper price than what the dealership is going to charge. But some of the worst, it's insult to injury. It's not many things like losing your car and then getting a bill on top of that. That's almost as bad as like having a car that's breaking down and then you got to fix something on it, but you still have a car payment. So the car doesn't drive, transmission's out, but you still got to make a payment every month. It's like, those are two of the toughest things. So know when you need gap insurance. Don't skip that. That's not a smart decision at all. But then check the coverage too, because he's asking about coverage. Check how much coverage. Do you have $15,000 of coverage? When you get your gap insurance policy, ask how much is covered if, God forbid, the vehicle is totaled. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Hey, what's up, MT? I'm in the market to lease my first Mercedes. I'm looking for an S580E. Make sure you get multiple offers. So let me give you an example of somebody who shops for a luxury car, gets multiple offers, and this was an electric BMW. Where's Teddy's deal? Teddy got a $73,000 BMW i4 M50. He said he got 10 offers. Now, we use a process in my book, it's called the 25 to 5. When you're getting a new car or a lease, you're reaching out to new car dealerships. And the reason why the strategy is called the 25 to 5, because we're going to connect with 25 dealers online. Takes us 20 minutes. Using my email scripts, we're going to get 5 offers. So it's 25 connections, 5 offers, 25 to 5. Now, some people you'll see they've gotten more offers using the strategy. In Teddy's case, he said, I received 10 offers. I only used the scripts provided. Closed on a 2024 BMW, $73,000 MSRP, $856 a month. Now, here's what I always say, and Teddy is going to confirm this. When you properly shop multiple offers, you are going to see a wide range. If you shop the right way, your best offer should be $150 to $200 apart, at least that different. So your highest offer should be at least close to $200 apart from your best offer. And sometimes it's even more than that. So in Teddy's case, you can see the dealer's initial offer came at $937 using the counter offer calculator, which I have in my book. You get access to this calculator where we put all our offers in, and then it spits out the counter offers based on the best offer we received. He said I counted at $829. He came back at $856. That's where he closed the deal at. So $856, $73,000 vehicle. That's a 1.1% lease. The way you judge your leases is you divide the monthly payment into the total MSRP, and that gives you what the percentage is. So he got a 1.16% lease. But here's what's very important. My highest offer during this process from a different dealer was $1,123. $1,123, even after his counters. So when I tell you that 80% of dealers are overpriced, had he been inside that dealership that was $1,123 trying to negotiate, it would not have mattered how great of a negotiator he was. The $1,123 dealer is not coming down to $856 because the $1,123 dealer is an 80% dealer. They're not going to sell the car if they can't make a certain amount of money. And that's what the 80% do. They'll discount and say that's the best we can do. They're not lying to you, but it's not the best their competition is willing to do. So if you're in a dealership that's an 80% dealer, this is why I said at the beginning of the stream, negotiators lose all the time. Great negotiators who don't use a bidding system lose all the time. I don't care if you're in sales, you say, Deshone, I've been in sales, I negotiate for a living. You lose all the time because there's no way for you to know the bottom of a vehicle. You don't know, is the bottom 7,000 off? Is it 3,000 off? Is it 15,000 off? What's the bottom? And the only way for you to know the bottom is to get multiple offers from multiple dealers and see the one who gives you the best offer. That's what confirms what the bottom is. So this is what you do. If you're talking about leasing an S580, this is what you do. You get multiple offers. On an S580 $100,000 car, you should see a $400 swing from your best offer to your worst offer. You might see $1,100 a month and you might see $1,500 a month from one dealer. That is from a different dealer. That's how different it is. Now, if you want to call around and try to get the quotes yourself by the phone, you can do that. We don't do that. We use email because I believe that most people don't like talking to car dealerships. Believe it or not, there are some people who do, and God bless them. Go ahead, do your thing if that's you. Start calling around. But if you're like, you just want to be able to copy and paste and use emails, that is all in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everybody who's taken the time to write a review about the book. This is one that we got the other day. Marguerite, I started pulling these up. This book is a must if you're thinking of getting a new or used car. So much has changed in the process since I bought my car 40 years ago. Think of it as a workbook. Even though you finish the book, you'll refer back to it several times. This is another one that I snatched. Deshone Auto book, Leave Nothing to Chance, from A to Z. He covers every aspect of car research, acquisition. I use the step-by-step approach from securing financing first to better understanding what I could realistically afford. Researched several vehicles, which led to the certified pre-owned. I reviewed my car specs, model years. See, what he's doing is he's walking you through the process I walked him through. That's what it is. It's a process. So when you get Cars from Home, my digital book, you now have a process for getting below market leases, process for getting below market car deals, a process for selling your lease instead of returning it to dealers and they go and sell your lease and make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and you didn't even know you could sell leases. You sitting here like, man, I didn't even know you could sell a lease. How much has that cost you? Let me ask you a question. You're like, Deshone, I didn't even know you could sell a lease. How much has just that alone cost you? If you don't know you could do it, you certainly don't know how to do it. There's still you listen, honestly, you might have been taught you can't even sell your car without the title. Who was taught that? I got to have my title before I could sell it. And I know this is true because when I was at the Mercedes dealer, people would walk in and the guy would be like, Deshone, is that the new one? I said, yeah, that's the new, the 20, whatever. I said, all right, as soon as I make my last payment, coming back to see you for that. I know. Most of the people are not going to admit it, but they didn't know. They don't know this stuff. So the reason why we have to get, I'm talking to you who are honest, who are willing to be honest and willing to take the bad news, because that's how we change. You cannot, if you won't admit that you didn't even know how to sell a lease, then how are you going to get to the point where you can sell leases and make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? See, I always meet people with bad news because I care about your car deal. I'm not the person who meets you and says, hey, Milton, you're doing a great job. Brandon, Rindy, you guys are just doing a great job buying these cars. Look at your deals. Wow, you're getting 1% leases. Wow, look at all these offers. You're getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 off on all of these offers. Great job. Oh, man, look at your pre-owned car. You got a huge discount. Originally, this car was $50,000 and you got it with good mileage for $26,000. Wow, you got a great discount on this pre-owned car. That's not how I'm meeting you. That's not how I'm meeting you. I'm meeting you. You don't even know that you should be getting the new price of a used car. You're looking at a used car. Duh, I'm looking at a 3-year-old car. Deshone, how do I know if this is a good deal? Well, we need the brand new price. What was that car brand new? Was it 50? Hey, when I was looking at my Infinity truck, I was buying an Infinity truck 2 years ago. I was looking at 4 white ones. 4 white ones. They were between $30,000 and $32,000. Now, most people would have just said, oh, well, let me pick the best one. Close my eyes, did a roulette, and they would have got in trouble. Why? Because I know, which is what I teach you in my book and what I teach in these streams, you have to get the new price. So now I get the new price and I find out one of the vehicles brand new was 46, one was 48, one was 52, and one was 54. Brand new. So all of those cars, when they were 30 to 32, they look similar. Oh, they look so close in price. But once I understand that, oh, this one's 46. That one has $8,000 more equipment in it. The price became far. It became clear what value was the best. Somebody would have picked the $46,000 car and said, oh, well, that one they were asking the lowest price. Meanwhile, for $1,500 more, you could have got $8,000 more equipment. This is value. So these are the things when I meet you, this is how I come. Deshone, I know I made a lot of mistakes. I'm willing to hear the bad news so I can get to the good news, so I can stop making these mistakes. That's all we're here for. And if you could take that, then we're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. I can help anyone get below market deals who's willing to unlearn. That's it. If you're willing to unlearn, you're good all day. Okay, so that's what you do, MT. Get bids, multiple bids. You need to get at least 5 bids for that Mercedes before you make a decision. Once you get the 5 bids, you'll have a clear winner. That's who you do business with. Go ahead, Dolan. And matter of fact, let me show this Mercedes discount too. Just so you know, MT, we just had somebody who got a Mercedes. And just so you know how much money is in there, you got to zoom in on this. But this was a $79,000 Mercedes electric one, just like the one you're talking about getting, except this is an EQE. And Milligan got $27,000 off. That's 20. Let me put that back on the screen. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, you can see this. $27,000 off. So I don't want you going in there thinking that, hey, if I could get $5,000 off, that sounds like a deal to me. Well, unless you get multiple offers, or you could leave a lot of money on the table, you'll end up overpaying by like $15,000, $20,000 and never know it. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot that next one up. All right, welcome to the new people who just jumped on. This is Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We're doing rapid fire Q&A. Any car question, throw it up, type it up. Dolan will pull it into the screen. And shout out to the people who have liked the broadcast. Hit that like button. It means a lot. You make sure you run once you do that, you let the algorithm know we're talking big money over here. All right, ID Corals. What's the most discount seeing on a RAV4 Premium? You're feeling for the bottom. That's a losing strategy. So when I look at a vehicle like Tiffany's vehicle, Tiffany, look, she gets a Mazda 2024 CX-90. Her best offer from all of her bids was $6,530 off. At the time last year, Eddie got a Toyota 2023 hybrid Camry. Those were hot. His best offer at the time was $2,086 under MSRP. That was a time when people were still charging over MSRP for some of these hybrids and some of these Camrys. So you don't know what your offer is going to be. I wish I could tell you that, hey, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, if you get $7,000 off, that's the bottom. A BMW X5, if you get $6,000 off, that's the bottom. No one knows. And frankly, there's never going to be a way to know. The only way that you possibly could know is if you're in our network and you see people who make a deal. I'll give you an example. If I see Ansley picks up his QX, his Infinity QX 60. I see Ansley, let's see, he picks up his Infinity QX 60, $58,000 vehicle. He gets it for $554, no money down. He leased it. $554, no money down on his lease. That's a under 1% lease, if you're not aware of how leases are judged. Savvy people all know about the 1% rule. So if your lease payment is 1% or less than the MSRP, you stole a vehicle. So this is a 1% lease, no money down. That's the only way we can judge a 1% lease, not with money down. So when I look at the discount on this, he probably got $7,000-8,000 off that Infiniti. He might have got you can't get that type of payment without getting huge amounts off and huge rebates. But he did not know that he was going to get that type of payment on his Infiniti. He did not know that he was going to get that type of payment. He went in, he shopped the market using our strategies. And just so you know, once you know how to do this, it only takes you 90 minutes to shop the market. When you see these people, look at Ansley's last sentence. Started the process Saturday, accepted a deal Monday. This doesn't take you, I'm not ever going to spend more than 2 hours car shopping to get a deal. Never. 90 minutes tops, I'm going to get a below market deal on anything. So when you look at the process of using a computer, this is what they're made for. See, the problem is you're just not using computers. You're not using the internet. You use the internet for Amazon, don't you? Don't you use the internet to shop competitively from Amazon, to go on websites when you need to buy something big? You're going to the internet. But when you need to buy something like a car, you're going to the dealership, not the internet. When every dealership in America has a website that you could be reaching out to them and making them compete. But no one knows what the below market deal is going to be, Cora. It's just ID corals. There's no way to know. We have people who, you saw Milligan, her below market deal was $27,000. It depends on the vehicle. That was an electric Mercedes. Sean's below market deal on a F-150 Lightning that he got was $20,000 off. Where's his deal? Look, Kimberly, she got a Maserati. That particular Maserati, the below market deal was $20,000 off. But as I said, Sean, $20,000 off. But Tiffany was $6,500 off. So when you see on the Mazda, so it's different for every vehicle. You have to understand that. And there's no way for you guys to know that. Unless you're in our group and then you see somebody get a car that you want and you're like, wow, if he just got 20 and he did that work, then I know the below market deal is 20. Let me go get it. But you still got to send your offers out. But there's no way to know. And when you try to guess, you get in trouble. That's what negotiators do. That's what negotiators do. They'd be like, all right, I feel like I got 7,000 off this. I think I did good. What if you could have got 12? What if you could have got 17? You're not doing good. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Absolutely applies to used cars. Our system in my book, somebody said, does this apply to used cars? Our system in my book is below market used cars, below market leases, and below market new car purchases. We also have the bank bidding war where we make banks and credit unions bid for our business instead of going and begging one bank to give us a loan. So we also sell leases and sell. So we run pretty much an organized bidding system for car buying and leasing. That's what we do. In a nutshell, what separates Cars from Home from any other channel? What separates my teachings from anyone else? We have an organized system for making people bid for our business. We send them through a round robin. That's how we have grandmothers who save more money than the best negotiator. It's just that simple. Rosalie. Rosalie's deal is insane. Look at Rosalie. And I wish some of you, I know some of you have these cars. That's the reason I show all of these different cars, because you might have these cars and you didn't get these prices. So that should be a wake-up call when I show all these cars, Jeep Grand Cherokees, QX50s, Mazda CX90s. Some of you have these vehicles. And you can look at your deal, look at your paperwork, look at your selling price. Look, do you see any rebates included? Look at your price and be like, you'll see, man, I didn't get these prices. She got a 2024 Infiniti QX60, $59,000 vehicle. Look, her payment is $592 a month. It's a $59,000 vehicle. Some of you lease this vehicle, you put down $5,000 and your payment's $500 a month. She put down nothing. So this is below market. I told you at the beginning of the stream, it's 3 prices that you can pay for any car. 3 prices. Market value, that's what negotiators pay. Above market value, that's for people with no strategy pay. Can't negotiate, no strategy. Just please, just get it over with. Tell me what it costs. They're paying above market value. And then below market value. Below market value is reserved for the people who know how to make people bid and compete for their business. Okay. All right, go ahead. Every time you get a hard pull on your credit, it brings down your credit score. That's why you want to mix them with, you want to have, all right. So first of all, you want to understand that this is called the bank bidding war. And this is an organized process that we created based on what the credit bureaus allow. The credit bureaus allow you to have multiple banks and lenders access your credit within a certain period of time, and it will show as one hard inquiry on your score. You'll see the inquiries, but the score, where one inquiry might drop your score 10 points, you could have 20 inquiries, but it's still going to be the same 10 points. And you can Google very simply, go to Google, type in Experian, which is a credit bureau, rate shopping. And you'll see the article that Experian themselves wrote telling you how you can rate shop. Banks don't want you to know this. Dealerships don't want you to know this, but we do this. So this isn't something that's new to us. It may be brand new to you, but think about that. If you are letting a lender lock you in to one offer, that means you're not shopping your interest rate. If you're going to Navy Federal because you're so gung-ho and super chummy with Navy Federal, but you're not letting anyone else compete against them, then you're not getting the best interest rate you could be getting. You certainly don't know it. You think because, oh, Navy Federal, they're my credit union, they would never charge me a higher interest rate than someone else would. Who said that? Their goal is to make money. So we use a strategy that is allowed by the banks, by the credit union, by the credit bureaus, and most people don't know about it. That's fine. Most people don't know anything about what I'm talking about. So everything that we're talking about here, most people don't know about selling leases. Most people don't know about getting bids for their cars instead of trading. Most people don't know about sitting online and contacting 20 dealers to get a lease quote using online scripts, emailing only to get 5 offers. Most people don't know about anything we're talking about. Leasing, and how leasing saves you way more money than buying unless you keep your cars 8 years. If you keep your cars 8 years, then leasing doesn't save you more than buying. But if you don't keep your cars 8 years, leasing, getting below market lease deals like some of the ones you see that I've shown you, saves you way more, thousands more than buying. Most people don't know any of this. So it's not about that. It's about, will you know it, Dawn? I don't care about what most people know. I care about the people who are like, look, I want to know this. I want to know how to make sure I shop for my interest rate and don't let the dealer shop for it for me, or don't just let one bank give me their offer. No, it's too much money. You know the difference between, and I want to pull this up, the difference in interest between on a $40,000 loan, $40K loan, what's the difference in interest from, let's say, 5.9 to 7.9%? Because we're so busy talking about the money on the car, but we totally overlook the money in the loan. And we don't. So when in my process, those of you who have my book, you know the bank bidding war. You know we're taking shopping at home for our loan just as serious as we're taking getting the best price for our car. So look, on a loan period, 5-year loan, interest paid on a 5.9%, 5.9%, hold on, interest paid at 5.9 is 15.8, difference is 4,000, positive comparison, and interest cost $40,000 loan over 3 years and 5 years. $11,000 in interest? That can't be right. Interest paid is that can't be right. Hold on. $7.9%. How much interest is paid on a 5-year loan? 7.9%. Could be over $15,000. That's impossible. 7.9 is that's impossible. Hold on. Now I gotta figure this out. I know it's a big difference. I know it's thousands different, but on a $40,000 loan, hold on. Wow. All right. So if I put in a $40,000 loan, 60 months, 7.9% interest, 0 down payment. Forget about sales tax. Let's see, calculate. All right. Principal, interest. Why is it not giving me? Here we go. Total loan interest is $8,500. Okay, that sounds more right. Okay, so on a $40,000 loan at 7.9, interest is $8,500. Now at 5.9, interest is $6,200. $6,200 versus $8,500. That is $2,300. $2,300 from 7.9 to 5.9. So when Navy Federal gives you a 7.9% rate and you're just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just take it. That's my credit union. And you're not shopping them. You're giving them money without even trying. And everything we do is quick, simple from home. But you need to understand how much money you have given to these banks and dealerships by just not making them compete. You're not just magically getting big money off and saving all this money. That's just not, it's too much money in car deals. Go ahead, Dolan. See, I see a lot in a lot of these questions. What I'm seeing is people trying to feel for the bottom. You don't want to use competitive strategies. You're not going to get there that way. Michelle, what's a good APR on a 2014 car? First of all, a 10-year-old car, you shouldn't have a loan. In my book, I teach something called the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday. 72 months is the longest loan you want to take on a car. Anything longer than that is like a 50-year mortgage. If you got to take a 50-year mortgage to afford a house, you can't afford the house. So why is the 10th birthday there? Well, that's because we should have the car paid off by the 10th birthday. In true affordability, you can do this. If you can truly afford a car, you can do this. You can get a car on a 6-year loan that has a payment that you can pay off by the time the car turns 10. You know who can do this? People who are buying cars they can't afford. People who want to get the Dodge Hellcat or the Dodge Demon and they can't afford the $70,000. So they're going to get one that's a 2017 with 90,000 miles on it, and they're going to pay 15 for it, 15,000. But the car is crap. Car's crap, 18,000, 20,000, but it's crap. Cars hasn't been taken care of, and they're going to take out a 6-year loan on it. So they're going to take out a 6-year loan on a car that is already old with high mileage. I've seen this. I call this the repo recipe. Some of you may have seen the video that I made on the repo recipe. The repo recipe created the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday, where I started looking and saying, by far, the amount of people I see losing cars to repossessions are people with loans on older cars. They own loans on older cars that instead of getting a nice, smaller, maybe less socially impressive used car, they want to get something that looks better, has more amenities to them, as more in a class of luxury. all right, Deshone, I could get this 2015 BMW. It's it has 90,000 miles on it. They only asking 14 grand. It's a horrible decision unless you can pay cash, because all you're doing is investing in a car for 5-6 years with payments that is already due for repairs. At 10 years old, the car you're asking about, Michelle, is already due for repairs. This is the age of the car. This is the age of the life cycle of the car where repairs should be normal. 10 years old, the car should be paid off. And every 2 years, you go to your mechanic. Hey, what does it need? They say, okay, hey, you got to put 1,000 into it. You got to put 800 into it. No problem. Here you go. Let me keep my car running. That's the age of repairs. But when you're starting a fresh loan on a car that is in the age of repairs, this is what I call the setup for the repo recipe, because you're going to now get this payment, $400 a month, $300 a month, $500 a month, whatever it is, and you now have a surprise. Hey, car's breaking down. Hey, what's this light flashing on my dashboard? Hey, what's this going on? What's this sound I'm hearing in the back? That's because you bought a car that is in the age of repair and you just bought it like it wasn't. See, if you drop cash on it, 15 grand, I don't got no problem with that. Because now you're going to say, all right, Deshone, I bought an older car, paid it off, but I'm going to put some money to the side just in case things go wrong. Perfect. But when you're making your car payment and you're paying your insurance and you're putting gas in the car and you have to do an oil change, and then something breaks and it costs you $2,000, you're gonna see the repo recipe, because you're gonna be like, wow. And God forbid something major happens, like the transmission goes, or a head gasket goes, or the engine goes. Oh, forget it. Now you're sitting there with a $400 payment on a 10-year-old car that literally you still owe $16,000 on, and it doesn't even drive. You need an engine. Happens all the time. I've been seeing it happen since 2006 when I got in the car business. And what's the reason? Older cars, long loans. Let's get these older cars, instead of being frugal and saying, all right, I could afford $300 a month. Let me go get an inexpensive, smaller used car that I can get something that's 5 or 6 years old, where it'll take care of me. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles because I don't have the budget for that, but it is going to be dependable. It is going to get me from point A to point B. It will allow me, it won't surprise me. I'm not going to come out one day to go to work and the car is broken down on me. Now I'm calling out of work and I got to call a tow truck and all of this stuff you're going to have with this 2014. So these are the things that I speak to my family about, to my friends when I was in the car business. These are the things that I would speak to people about, Michelle. A loan on a 2014 is a horrible idea. I can't even tell you what a good APR would be, but if you had said what's a good APR on a 2020, I can tell you we need to bid that out. We don't know what a good APR is. Is it 5? Is it 4.9? Do they have a special interest rate, 1.9? What's the best we're going to get? We're going to put it through a bank bidding war process, and we'll see. That's it. But a 2014, that's just too old of a car to have a loan on. Go ahead, Dolan. Everything I'm teaching is inside my new digital book. If you want the entire blueprint of everything that people like Pierre have used, people like Zafrina have used to get these below market deals, Teddy, people like Jared, look, Greg, some of you know Greg, he got his EV6 Kia, $56,000 vehicle, $527 a month. Everything that these guys have used and girls have used to get these below market deals is in my new digital book. And you can have it for 75% off. That's my welcome offer, but it's only for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, it goes back up to $97. So if you want yours for $24, head to my TikTok bio now or my Instagram bio, click the website link there, and then click the button that says 75% off new book. Get there before the timer so you can get your $24 book instead of a $97 book, even though it's worth it at $97. And if you're on YouTube, I have a comment for you, a link for you in the chat, and then I have a link for you guys on Facebook. But that's for those who want the blueprint. It'll be there. And make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page, because it has my support team's email on there, just in case you type your email wrong. Want to make sure you can reach out to support to get your book. Go ahead, Dolan. Does your book go into detail about cash purchases? Cash is simple. It's just simple. You're using one step of the bidding process. If you don't have a car to replace, then you're using one step. If you have a car to replace, then you still be doing the equity assessment to sell your old car. You just wouldn't need the bank bidding war because you're not financing. But for sure, if you use you'd be using the same process that Milligan used. Milligan used to save $27,000 off her car. Pierre, he got his pre-owned Mazda. He got 20% off certified pre-owned CX5. Used the perfect budget calculator. Spotted this best deal of similar listings, and then he knows how to get the original price to make sure that he got the biggest discount from the new version. Somebody like Vincent. Vincent gets a Lincoln. He wanted to get, what I like about Vincent is he got more discount than he went in to get. I can't even see all of these people. Here we go. Vincent, he said, I bought a 3-year-old Lincoln Corsair, under 45,000 miles. He targeted to get 30 to 35% off original MSRP using the multiple marketplace strategy in my book. He got a 43% off MSRP, original MSRP. See, that original MSRP, that's different language. That's language that you should be using when you buy a pre-owned car. There's no pre-owned car that you should be buying from this day forward and the original MSRP is not in your language. It just makes no sense. How do you know what the price is if the price you're paying is good or not? What are you basing it off of? Market value? What the other ones are listed at all? That doesn't matter. What matters is how much was that car originally? 60,000? Okay, now they're offering it for 30. It's 50% off. How much was this car originally? 52? Now they're offering it for 30. Okay, what's the better discount? That's what matters with a used car when it comes to getting the best price. Now, that has nothing to do with getting a quality car. We have different steps we take to get a quality car. You got to get it. You have to check the Carfax. You have to look at the title. We don't want salvage title. We don't want frame damage. We don't want rebuilt titles. We don't want rentals. So you're checking the title. We're looking at accident history. We're looking at service records. We're checking to make sure that there's no bad data on that vehicle. It doesn't have electric problems, doesn't have software problems. We do all of this in literally 15 minutes. That's our steps for making sure we don't get a bad used car. But when it comes to pricing, you must know the original MSRP or you can't, nothing else matters when it comes to used car pricing. So that's all in my new book. Grab your copy. You'll have the entire blueprint for how we do this. Go ahead, Dolan. What do you do if your loan is upside down and you want to lease? Transfer it over. In my book, we have 2 ways to get out of a negative equity. There's 3 options with negative equity. 2 lead to a car, 1 does not. So just so you understand the severity of negative equity I call the bad credit for people with good credit. Because when I was at the dealership, people walk into Mercedes, and if they left with they could have an 800 score. If they had too much negative equity, they were not leaving with the car. So there's only 2 things that I've witnessed in my career that stop people from getting deals on cars. Credit's too bad, negative equity. So that means it's a serious thing. So what I say is understand the cause. The cause, which you seem to know already, Lavis, is you should be leasing, but you buy. That's why Lavis is asking about going from a negative equity deal to a lease, because the taking out 5-year, 6-year loans is what you do. Then you go and you replace those cars in 2 or 3 or 4 years. You have negative equity. Happens all the time, especially to you who doing no money down deals. And to those of you who are putting down like 5, 10 grand, you don't have any negative equity, but you're losing that money. You're not getting that money back. You put down 5 grand, 10 grand on a car, then you come to trade it in 5 years, and you come to trade it in 3 years. You're not getting that 5, 10 grand back. You don't because it's just the car depreciates too much. So you're just throwing money at these cars that is not coming back to you. When you are going for a lease now, we have 2 ways that you're going to transfer to a lease from a negative equity deal. We're going to do our equity assessment. You're going to go to CarMax, go on these websites, CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB, Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, and AutoNation. Sell my car. 6 offers. So they're going to give you 6 offers on your current car. Now, that is going to be the smallest amount of negative equity that you're going to have, because that's the best offers you're going to get. These are companies that fight every day to buy cars. That's what they do. So they're not lowballing. They're not saying, hey, we'll throw out one number here and then we'll negotiate. Hey, Charlene, good to see you. Good to see you, Michael Singleton. They're not doing that. They're coming in and saying, all right, we're going to put our best offer online. And then when we inspect the car, if there was something that you didn't tell us about the car, if there was something that you left out, we're going to need to deduct that when we inspect it. So they're putting their best offers online right there. And so that means that's going to be your lowest amount of negative equity, because you're getting the most for your car if you sell to one of them. So let's say your highest offer comes from a Car Guru's dealer who wants to buy your car for $19,000. Let's say you owe 21. You owe 21, they want to buy it for 19. Hey, Steve Long, what's going on? Good to see you. What should you do? You should pay the difference, because when you pay the difference, you're closing the deal with the least amount of negative equity. That's what you want. You're closing the deal with the least amount of negative equity. And so when you go buy your car, your next car, or lease your next car, rather, in your case, negative equity has nothing to do with the deal. So that's what you would prefer to do. Pay the difference and then go out and get bids for your lease and then do a clean deal. But now let's say, they offer you 19 and you owe 29. So you are now $10,000 upside down. You can't pay the difference. I don't have 10 grand to pay the difference. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to transfer that negative equity to your next deal, which means you have to trade your car in. And we don't trade. We don't like trading because you can't get bids. What's up, Dion? Good to see you. You can't get bids. The reason why when y'all hear me say trading is a curse word is because you don't get the money your car is worth trading it. You don't get the money anything is worth trading it. So now you've bought this car, you found this deal, but now you have to go to the dealer and say, all right, I need you to take a look at my car. Now, what happens if Carvana offered you 19, but this dealer can only pay 17? It's just all they can pay. They can't match that offer. So you're going to have more negative equity in most cases when you have to do this. So, but that's okay. If you can't pay the difference, this is your only option. Now, it's very important for those of you who are trying to do negative equity trades and then go into a lease that you understand loan to value ratios, because that's what's stopping you from getting your deals. When you go to buy a car, the bank usually gives you 20% above the value of the car. That's the max the bank is going to really give a person with good credit. Sometimes a little more, but we'll use that it could go to 25%. Ridiculous banks will go to 30%, but 20% is really benchmark. So if the car you're buying is 40, the bank is going to lend you max 48,000. That's 20%. So no dealer, no bank. What's up, Benito? Nobody can get $50,000 approved on that $40,000 car. So when you buy your car, you're trying to buy the car, put the taxes in, put the fees in, and then throw the negative equity in. So the car was 40. Next thing you know, you're at 52, and you want to do a no money down deal. And you're wondering why you can't do a no money down deal, because the bank is saying we're not going to lend 52 on a $40,000 car. That's when they come to you and they'll say, hey, you got to put money down. Can you come up with $5 grand? Because we can't get the bank to approve it. It's loan to value. Now, also, what you need to keep in mind is when you can get big discounts off the vehicles, you can actually bring over more negative equity. When you look at Sean saved 20 grand off his vehicle. If he had to throw 7 grand negative equity on there, he could do it. If you had to throw it, honestly, he got a $20,000 discount. If he had to throw 20 grand of negative equity on here, he could do it. Payment's going to be high, but he could do it. It wouldn't affect the loan to value ratios because he got a huge discount off the vehicle. We talked about Tiffany. She got $6,500 off of her vehicle, her Mazda CX-90. If she wanted to slap $7,000 of negative equity on top of this deal, she could do it because she got a big discount. And the bank says, well, we're basing the loan off 44, not the fact you bought it for 36, 38. You got a big discount, but that we don't care about that. We're looking at 44 and we'll lend up to 51 or whatever. So if she gets $7,000 off and she wants to throw $7,000 negative equity, the bank's going to say that's fine, no problem. So it has a lot. It has a lot to do with how much negative equity you have, and also what is the vehicle you're getting and how much discount did you get off that vehicle. That's what matters. So make sure you understand what's causing negative equity, which is for you. So because, like I said, Lavish seems to understand she's going into a lease, but the cause for negative equity is buying cars when you should be leasing. Very simple. Yeah, Bella, that's a $7,500 rebate, and that's not the only thing you should be thinking about. Like you want to look at what discount can you get in addition to the $7,500 rebate. That's how we have people that are saving, $15,000, $10,000, $20,000. They're getting the rebates for the electric vehicles, but they're also getting huge discounts from the dealers that are winning the bid. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one out. Okay, all of this is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. This is the blueprint. This is 14 years of car business experience with Mercedes, with General Motors, and running my own brokerage and teaching thousands of people online how to get these below market deals and using a system. We don't wing it. It's not an accident. It's not like, oh, I hope this works. This is a particular set of things you do online to make dealers and banks bid, and success is guaranteed. If you trust my process and forget about your old way of no process, you will be fine. The success is guaranteed. So as part of my welcome offer, you can get the book for 75% off. It's normally $97 because it's worth every penny. I didn't want to price the book like it was a regular book because it's not. So it's normally $97, but for 30 minutes, you can get your copy for 75% off as long as you get to my TikTok bio, click the picture of me before 30 minutes is up. The welcome offer is only 30 minutes, then the price goes back up to $97. So you can go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio, click the website. You can go to the comment section on YouTube or the comment section on Facebook. Click the link and get your 75% off. But make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page, because it has the link right there to open the book. And then I also email you a copy, but sometimes you'll type your email in incorrectly and we can't email it. So you'll have my support team's email just in case. Is Capital One a good option to finance a car? We get bids. We spent a lot of time. You must have just jumped on, Jen. We get bids. There is no bank that is giving you the lowest rate. If a bank always gave you the lowest rate, they would be out of business. So when we consider what lenders, why do you think there's people in the money business? There are people in the money business. They don't care if you buy a car. I see you, Genome Hamilton. We'll get to you. Get that question from Genome on Facebook, Dolan, next. So why do you think there's people who are in the loan business? They don't sell cars. Banks don't sell cars, they sell money. So when you just see the overpaying, I told you guys, it's 3 prices you can pay for anything you get: market value, above market value, below market value. That means you can get a market value loan. That's the average. You can get an above market value loan, which is above average, 2-3 points higher than what you could have got just because you were lazy. Now you're paying not 8.2%, but you should have been paying 5.7%. But you just didn't bother. You just said, okay, I guess this is it. But below market deals come from competitive offers called bids. So when you are when Capital One should be a bank that you get a bid from, Navy Federal, Bank of America, Community Credit Union, Lightstream, everyone and anyone should be in the bank bidding more, because the more the better. So when you get my book, you get the bank bidding war blueprint. For those, every time you're going to finance a car, you would use that process to make banks and credit unions bid for your business, so that you guarantee you got the lowest rate. You don't drive off hoping you got the lowest rate when you didn't even make anyone shop. How would you have the lowest rate? There was no competition. We cannot get money off when there's no competition. The big money, the thousands of dollars off that you're seeing, is reserved for competition. This is reserved for people who make people compete for their business. That's what the big money is reserved for. Look, 4 days of leasing like a boss. Started with a Kia Telluride EX. That was my first choice. 15,000 mile a year lease, range from 642 to 753. Moved to Honda Pilot EX. All-wheel drive is choice B. Got quotes between 616 and 719 after contacting every dealer in North Carolina. We do this totally online, so Melissa's talking about the entire online process. The dealer I ended up leasing from originally quoted me 719, came down to 616 in 3 days, 0 at signing, 0.13% lease. This is what it's about. Competition. She knows she got the best price. You can't go to her and be like, Melissa, you think you could have did a little better? She's going to be like, look at all the offers I got. Do you think I could have did better? You're going to look and say, no way. See, competition is what gives you the peace of mind. Every time you buy a car, why don't you have peace of mind? Why are you driving away hoping? Driving away, oh man, you think we did all right? Should we have gotten tried to get more for the trade in? Shoot, we ended up putting 3,000 down. We only wanted to put 1,500 down. This is how you're leaving the dealership. Why? Because you're not making people compete. So when you're not making people compete, you're begging for discounts. And you have no leverage to be able to compare to even know that you got the best price. You have nothing to compare it to. So when people come on the stream and they're like, hey, Deshone, I'm paying $519 a month for this car. Is that a good deal? You have nothing to compare it to. Hey, I got a 2019 Mazda 3 for $17,000. Is that a good deal? You have nothing to compare it to. But if you had seen 7 Mazda 3s and then the one you got, it was originally, 31,000, but you paid, 17 for it. You know this. And this stuff is simple. This isn't building rocket ships. But this is reserved for the people who care about their finances. Everyone doesn't invest. Everyone doesn't save. Everyone doesn't, take financial literacy seriously in any way. But there are opportunities that flash past all of us where we can absolutely benefit from learning things that other people don't know. If you learn how to invest in stocks better than other people, you're going to do better than other people. If you learn how to get cars less than other people, you're going to get less than other people. This is not by accident. But you got to focus. This is your second most expensive purchase. So this is only for the people who are focused. This is for you. The blueprint, everything, my book, anything I do, the streams. The streams aren't for distracted people. We can't do nothing with distracted. There's people on here right now that got me on one channel, playing video games on the other channel, and then eating with another hand. And they think it's hard to win like that. And we're going to talk about a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 transaction, and you're not even really focused. So I want the people who are focused to understand your success is guaranteed. Just by being locked in, your success is guaranteed. Because we have a process that you can trust that you no longer have to wing this car buying thing. I've been in this thing since 2006. Car buying is very predictable. New cars, used cars, leases. There is nothing a car salesman is going to say or type to me or send to me in an email or send to my people that I haven't seen before. I used to have to send those same emails, copy and paste them. It's so predictable. So once you understand that, you'll understand why we're able to get these deals. All we're doing is putting people against each other. Simplest terms. Simplest terms. But we do have some advanced stuff when it comes to leasing versus buying. Obviously, this is more advanced teaching that people don't understand. But getting the money off, it's competition. Competition. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one in. Jerome Hamilton, if I get a GM employee discount, can I get a better lease? Who knows if they're going to really give it to you? See, the problem is when you walk in and say, hey, I got a General Motors discount. All right, here, let me work you up these numbers. All right, it's $601 a month with $2,000 down. Oh, that's the GM price? Yeah, that's the GM price. How do you know that? How do you know the GM price? How do you know it's not $3,000 in rebates that I'm holding back? How do you know it's not $3,000 in rebates and I'm only giving you $1,000 of it? Here, hey, I also we have $1,000 rebate. I also put in there for you. Oh yeah, you did with the GM pricing? Yep. You don't know. You don't know. So no matter whether we get X plan, GM deal, Mercedes fleet, does not matter. Multiple offers, because when you get multiple offers, what you're going to see is that some people are not going to give you the GM discount. And some people are not going to give you the rebates. They're just not going to do it. It's in their DNA. An 80% dealer is going to try to make everything they can make. I'm not giving this guy the $2,000 rebate. Wow, come on, I'll sell his car to somebody else. So now you're going to deal with an 80% dealer and hope you can get a deal. No. Once you see the 20% that says, here's your GM discount, and here's a $3,000 rebate, and here's the price, and then you compare it to the others, you're going to see, oh, those guys were trying to get over on me. Of course, that's what they do. That's what they do. 100%. Go ahead, Dolan. We always get bids. Doesn't matter. You can't trust anybody to give you a price and give you all the rebates and give you the hidden money like they're your friend. That's just not going to happen. If they rather make the $5,000 themselves, why am I volunteering money that you're not even asking for? You came in and you asked for a GM discount. I'm giving that to you, maybe. But you didn't ask me about these rebates. You didn't ask me about, I don't need to volunteer this. This is how they look at it. So many times you get in there, you go, oh, give me the invoice price. Can you give me the invoice price? We got a deal. Man, if half these people that I've shown you on this stream had accepted invoice price, they'd be looking at these prices that they paid and saying, why the heck did I pay that price? Invoice price means nothing. What if you got a $7,000 rebate, $15,000 rebate on some of these vehicles? What if you got a $4,000 rebate? Invoice price has nothing to do with rebates. So now, all right, I'll take off $2,500 to get you the invoice, but what about, that's it? You happy with that? Yeah, that's all I want. My father told me get the invoice price and I got a good deal. All right, your father was sadly misinformed. Unfortunately, thank you. I'm gonna take a vacation on this commission and we just made $7,000 on you. My cut is probably $1,200. I got a nice pay. Thank you. Thanks to your dad too. It's a good guy. Good guy. Keep following his advice. This is how it goes. Unfortunately, these people are not your friends. And as a former car salesman, I keep it straight. I keep it straight because unfortunately, most people on here, you just I'm going to my car dealer. These people are not your friends. You invite Charlie over to barbecues. Charlie is my friend. He's been selling me cars for 20 years. Sold my dad cars. Once you start making him compete, next time you buy a car, lease a car, say, hey, Charlie, look, I'm going to get a number from you, but I'm also going to get numbers from a couple other dealers. Hey, what you mean? Watch Charlie get mad. Watch Charlie get mad. What you mean? What, you don't trust me? I've been doing business with you for 20, 30 years. Yeah, but I want you to actually, I just want to, this guy Deshone told me I need to shop around, always make sure, because it's a lot of money I could be leaving on the table. Oh, man, come on, man. See, that's a person that never wanted to compete. He would rather come to your barbecues, be friends with you so that you don't make him compete. Because the minute you start making dealers compete, you're going to see how much money you've been losing. That's the only way. It's the only way. You start making these dealers compete, you're going to see, dang, I've been overpaying. Some people right now getting phone calls right now. Hey, come on in. We're going to upgrade your lease. Good news. We're going to keep your payment around the same price. Who's getting these phone calls? Who's getting these phone calls? Good news. I can get you out of your lease right now and get you into a new lease about the same payment. Who's getting those phone calls? Who's getting those phone calls? I ain't been on since 5 a.m., KD. Chill out, bro. Chill out. Who's getting those phone calls? Right? Hey, come on in. I could get good news. I could get you in the brand new 2025. You don't even have to you don't even have to put no money down. Come on in, right? All of that, right? Everybody's getting those calls. Why? Because 2022 and 2021, they overcharged you and your payment is so high, even though deals are a whole lot better. They were better back then, but they put you in a high deal back then. Now what they're trying to do is keep you in that high deal, hoping you're used to it. And they want you to think that's normal. They want you to think, hey, Mr. Hayes, yes, you've been paying $750 a month since 2022. Good news. The market is all bad. The market's bad, right? Oh, yeah, I'm hearing that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're aware. Now, see, you say stuff, you don't even realize you say stuff that helps them make more money. That's why we don't talk in my system. There's no talking. But when you say, a lot of my friends been saying, man, these prices been high. I don't even know if they ever gonna come down. Yes, thank you. You're right. You're so right. We say the same thing in here every day, Mr. Hayes. But the good news is this. I can actually get you in a new vehicle and keep your payment around the same price as your old 2022. Oh, yeah, you can do that? Yeah. Man, well, I really like to come down. Yeah, but listen, things have not, interest rates are high, right? Have you been following interest rates? Yeah, I have been seeing that they're high and they've been high for a minute. Yeah, so that's all affecting the prices we can offer now. But, normally your price will go up by about $120. Normally you go into the 2025, but, I see you bought a car in the past and I was able to pull some strings, work with my manager, and we can get you on a new one, keep your price around the same. Okay, all right. When can I see it? Come on down. When can it come down? That price should be dropping from $750 to like $520 because the market is entirely different. There's been great deals out here since the daggone pandemic. It's been great deals. During the pandemic, we helped Bonita. Bonita got her Telluride. She got it for $600 a month during the pandemic. That's why I always show her deals. $600 a month. People are leasing these for $800 a month, $900 a month during the pandemic. This was 2022 when people were leaving out of the dealerships with axes in their heads. Couldn't believe how high they were paying. She believed $600 a month, her dream vehicle. So these deals have been out here. Look, Greg made this deal. Look, we've been making deals, below market deals. Look at Danielle. $44,000 vehicle, $550 a month, no money down. Charles, Palisade, $48,000 vehicle, $597 a month. Hyundai Palisade, top 5 SUVs in the market the last 3 years. So the people who tell you there's no deals, they don't know how to get them. So yes, when you go into, when you don't have strategy, I told y'all, I've said it, I think 3 times, maybe 4 on this stream. There's only 3 prices you can pay. Market value, that's what all the negotiators are going to pay. They think they did well. All they did is pay the average price of a negotiator. Now you got above market value. That's for the people who can't negotiate. You don't like negotiating. You're not good at it. You just close your eyes and hope that it works out for you. You're paying above market value. And then below market value, which is what you see these people pay because they're not negotiators. They make people bid. And when you make people bid, You don't have to be a negotiator. If someone comes in to fix, you want to get your kitchen redone, and they tell you, okay, it's going to be $50,000. Yeah, hey, is that your best price? All right, yeah, all right, because I'm going to have 3 or 4 other people come in and get a number too. Okay, well, I might be able to get you from like 50 down to like 45. Okay, it's all right. I'm going to have another person come. Another person says, I could do it for 41. Another person says, I could do it for 60. Okay, another person, I could do it for 42. Now you're creating competition, and all of them you tell, hey, I'm getting multiple bids, and they're going to give you their best offer. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but when they know you are getting other prices, they're going to give you their best offer. And that's what I tell you. When people say that's our best offer, Mr. Nunn, that's my best offer, Mr. Henderson, they're not lying to you. That's their best offer. They're not going any lower because they want to make a lot of money. Look, man, I'm making $6,000 on this car. If I can't make it, I'll sell it to someone else. I'll sell it to someone else. I don't need to sell. That's how the 80% of dealers think. You expect the incentive to get a lot better the next few months, especially Ram. What are the incentives now? Unless you can tell me that you shop multiple dealers for Rams and you can show me 5 different offers you've gotten on a Ram, you don't know what the incentives are now. How can we wonder if stuff's going to be better? What are you comparing it to? You went into one dealer, Dodge dealer, hey, how much is this Ram? They told you and you're like, oh, well, that's expensive. 80% dealer. 80% dealer. And again, the only way for you to see how much you've been overpaying is to start using these strategies that we teach for multiple offers. And I know, sometimes it's hard to face that. Sometimes you would rather not see how much you've been losing. And that's understandable. It doesn't make financial sense, but it's an emotional decision that's understandable. I don't want to know, Deshone. I would rather keep shopping the way I've been shopping and save no money or the same money rather than shop the new way and then see that the old way was costing me tens of thousands of dollars. That doesn't make financial sense. But the people when you ask, are the incentives good? You got to know what the incentives are now. That means we run the market. When I was shopping for my mother a couple years ago, I ran all the offers on a Mazda CX-5 for her in October. I didn't like the deals. I didn't like the lease offers. I contacted them again in November, emailed them all again. Hey, what do we look like in November? Didn't like the deals. Emailed them one more time in December. Or one of the dealers actually reached back out to me and said, hey, I got this car coming in. We did the deal in December. That is keeping track of incentives. That's monitoring programs. If I shop the Ram right now, it'll take me no more than 60 minutes to get literally 5 to 7 offers on Ram. Using my system, the 25 to 5 strategy in my book, I go into the book, I literally use my scripts, and in 60 minutes, 90 minutes, I'll have 5, 7 offers on Rams. That's just how it works. So now I'm able to look and see, all right, what type of discounts are they offering? What are the incentives? What are the programs? Do I like them? Do I not? All right, let me check back let me check back next month. Let me see if there's any new incentives. So that's the way it works. That's the way you move the market. We have to be able to monitor what the deals are. But I see, unfortunately, there's a lot of you who you want to try to fill for the bottom. That's just what you've been trained to do. It's a losing strategy. I would love for you, if I was still at the dealership, I'd love for you to come and try to fill for the bottom. Especially if I work for a manufacturer where we got rebates a lot. Come on in, fill for the bottom. $3,000 off is a good discount. When's the last time you got $3,000 off a vehicle? I just think, I think I might be able to get more. Okay, listen, we settle at 5. You don't know I had a $5,000 rebate, so you're just not going to know. So you can sit here and feel for the bottom all you want. It's not going to work. You're still going to leave wondering, hoping it's a losing battle. That's why I'm trying to tell you, stop doing it. Stop doing it. You're asking, okay, what's a good interest rate for this vehicle? You're trying to feel for the bottom instead of sitting at home the way my book teaches you and making people bid and come to you and have all of these people begging for you to do business with them. Oh, how much discount should I be getting off of a Toyota Camry? Feeling for the bottom. Instead of sitting at home, contacting 25 dealers online, using my strategies, using my scripts, and saying, okay, now I got 7 offers on a Toyota. Oh, I see the biggest one is giving me 5,000 off. Okay, that's the market. That's the below market. You cannot feel for the bottom. You can keep doing it. It's just a losing strategy. You're never going to get the discount, the maximum discounts, feeling for the bottom, walking into a dealer. It's just never going to happen. So for those of you who are tired of that, you're like, I don't want to be feeling for the bottom anymore, Deshone. I don't want to be worried about being a good negotiator, Deshone. I want to be able to have a plain, simple system for getting dealers and banks to bid for my business. That's what Cars from Home is, my digital book. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off. That's my welcome offer. In my TikTok bio, click that picture of me, or click my Instagram picture, go to my bio, click the website, and then you'll see a button to activate your 75% off your book. Grab it. It'll be in your inbox. You'll have all the strategies necessary for paying these prices, the same prices you've been seeing me share throughout the stream. Or if you're on YouTube, I have a link for you in the comments. If you're on Facebook, I have a link in the comments for you. Grab your book, use it, and shop empowered. The old days are over. The days of going into dealerships, over. Spending more than 30 minutes in a dealership, over. You'll never do that again. Begging for discounts, over. Not knowing what to say, hoping, oh man, they told me don't tell them I had a trade. All of this garbage that they've been trying to, none of this stuff works because you're not employing competition. So all of those days of that's over. Watching social media videos, all right, man, let me try to remember this. All of that is over because we have the blueprint. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. Thank you to everybody who's reviewed the book on Goodreads. We appreciate you. We couldn't get to this many reviews and a 5-star rating without you guys taking the time to rate the book and review it. But grab your copy. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, that welcome offer is only good for 30 minutes. After that, the book does go back up to $97, which is still a great price. But $24 is better than $97. So get there before the 30 minutes is up. TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, Facebook comments. Use the book and go win. All right? Unlearn everything you've been taught. That's the key. Leave everything you've been taught at the door. Trust this process. Success is guaranteed. All right? God bless you. I'll see you on the next stream. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you are car shopping now, or you will be in the next 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. We're about to go live, do some serious car shopping Q&A for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So you can start typing your questions, as many questions as I can get to in an hour. We'll get through them. And what you often will see, that someone else is going to ask the same question you have. So a lot of times you'll actually, even if you can't get your question into the stream, because usually by the time we get 20, 30 minutes in, we got lots of questions and we don't always get to them all. But usually someone else will literally ask the same question that you have. So, so we can start talking. I'm just sharing this to Facebook now. This entire stream is sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes in my TikTok bio, my YouTube, in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And the book's normally $97. Everything we'll be going over today will be out of that book. Every answer that I give you is out of that book. So if you want the entire blueprint and you don't want to remember the things that we're about to go over, you grab the book, and obviously everything we're about to go over, we wouldn't be able to cover everything that's in the book. There's like 100 questions that'll be answered in that book. So let me just share this to Facebook, and we'll get started with the first question that we got from TikTok. So type your questions in as fast as possible, and type your questions in one shot. Don't do like a part one, part two, and because then Dolan can't bring them into the stream. Okay, Dolan, let's get going. Let's throw up the first question, please. Nora, I'm upside down on my vehicle. How do I get out or pay off early? There's two ways to deal with negative equity. One of them is easier. It depends on the resources you have. So you have the option to pay the difference, which means you are actually going to say my highest offer for my car is $18,000, but I owe $20,000. That means I have $2,000 of negative equity. I'm going to pay that off. That way I can go and do a clean transaction for my next car. I don't have baggage going into my next car. And I get to maximize the value of my current car through what we call a bidding process. So we don't trade our cars. We only get bids from cash buyers like Carvana, CarMax, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, Car Gurus, and Driveway. That's 6 cash offers we get. These are companies that fight feverishly to buy cars. They pay more than dealers, and they write checks on the spot. You literally go, have your inspection, they go into the accounting department, and they come back with a check for you. This is not like selling your car on Facebook Marketplace. So they're going to pay more than dealers. So you want to make sure, if you can, you sell to them, because that's going to be the highest offer you're going to get for your car. And that's going to be the least amount of negative equity you will have. If you can't pay the difference, then you must trade. And trading is a curse word here, because you never get what your asset is worth trading. If I wanted to trade this phone, I'm not going to get as much as I would get putting it on the open market and getting prices and offers for it. So trading is a last resort. What happens is, if you can't pay the difference, you now will go shop for your new car, find a dealer willing to sell you the car at the lowest price, and then you would ask that used car manager to value your car. I do not recommend you go into the dealer and let them just mix the deals together. Write me a deal where you work in my trade-in with my negative equity. No, shop for your car, get your best offer from a dealer, new car, used car, or lease. And then once you identify the winning dealer, that's when you say, hey, can you take a look at my car? What's it worth to you? Now it's its own separate transaction. And if your payment was this $800 a month, you'll know, now what is my old car going to add to that? If my payment was $400 a month, now I know what is my old car going to add to that. And I can see what you're giving me for it, how much negative equity I'm going to bring into this transaction. And it's an easier way to understand the numbers. You don't want to be mixing transactions if you don't have to. And the key to understanding negative equity and the cause is you don't lease. That is the cause. The only way you're having negative equity is you continue to buy cars, but you're not a long-term person. You trade them in or replace them before the loan is paid off, and someone taught you not to lease. So you're going to continue to be in this repetitive cycle because you don't lease. There are emergency situations where you need to switch cars, but if you're not keeping your cars 8 years, this is rule number 1 in my book. You should be shopping for below market lease deals, not for purchases. So that's your 2 options. Decide which one you can do, and then you make your move. Now, and also keep in mind, you have loan to value ratios when you have to transfer. The bank's only going to approve about 20% of what the actual new car price is. So whatever car you're buying, if you're buying a $30,000 car, the bank's only going to approve 20% more than that. They're not going to allow you to slap $10,000 on a $15,000 car, because they're only, they have loan to value ratios. So what you want to do, if you have a large amount of negative equity, you want to shop for cars, and you want to shop for cars that you can get big discounts off of. There's certain cars that have rebates. They're not listed. But in my system, what I do is I teach you how to get bids on cars. You know, we have some people, I mean, I'll show you people who've gotten 15, 20, 30,000, $27,000 off. I'm not going to exaggerate. The biggest discount we've helped someone get using our strategies is Milligan on her Mercedes-Benz. She got $73,000 EQE, and she paid $51,000 for it, 54. It's $27,000 off. I got it up here. So if she had, let's just say she had 15,000 in negative equity, it's no problem. She's not going to blow out the loan to value ratios because she got a huge discount off the new price. So it's going to fall within the bank's parameters. But I hate negative equity. I call it the devil to your car deals. I call it the bad credit for people with good credit. So it's important that when you get out of it, you know what the cause is, because if you don't know the cause, you'll be in negative equity again in 3 years. Most of you who have negative equity, you should be moving from a purchase into a shopping for below market lease, and stop tying up your money in these cars, and you'll never have negative equity again. 8 long-term people who keep their cars 8+ years, you never have negative equity. See, that's, you know, there's a reason for that. I'm keeping my car, I'm paying it off, I'm beating depreciation, I'm getting all the money out of my car. Short-term people should not be buying their cars. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll get to as many questions as we can in 45 minutes. Now, let me just actually say this. We have a 7-step process. Everything in my system is 7 steps. We don't go, see, a lot of times you don't understand what you should be doing first. Should I be focusing on my old car, my trade-in, shopping for a car first? What should I be doing first? So we have a system that you actually now have a process. It's 7 steps. First step is the most important question. That's leasing versus buying. How are you going to beat depreciation? Because you're about to buy a depreciating asset. If you buy a depreciating asset with no plan to address or beat the depreciation, you are going to lose like everyone else loses. So we need to see, am I going to beat depreciation with a long-term purchase, or am I going to beat depreciation with a below market lease? Long-term purchase, I got to tie up my money. My money's going to be in the car 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, but over time, the depreciation is going to cool off. I'm going to have a vehicle that doesn't depreciate much. Who has a vehicle that they've had for more than 10 years? Type the number of years you've had it in the comments. If you had a vehicle for 10 years, type 10, 12, even if you had it for more than 8. Let's go 8 because it's called the 8-year rule. If you've had it for more than 8, type the number of years that you've had your vehicle in the comments. Let's see how many long-term people we truly have, because not a lot of people are long-term. Like every time I ask this question, we don't get a lot of people that's like, yeah, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Look, we don't have many people that can say they even have a car on here that they've had for more than 10 years, more than 8 years. But you're tying up all this money in these cars, and then you're going and you're replacing them in 5 years and 6 years. And look, Sharon, 14 years. God bless you, Sharon. That's a long-term person. Look, Ray Johnson, 9 years. That's a long-term person. So they don't have to worry about depreciation. Their car right now is worth the same amount it'll be worth about a year from now. If Ray's car is worth $9,000, a year from now, it's going to be close to 9. He's beat depreciation. So if you're not buying cars to beat depreciation, you shouldn't be buying them, because you're not going to beat depreciation in the short term. You can't. It's impossible. The only way to beat depreciation as a short-term buyer is to get below market leases, because you're never tying up your money in that car. Not regular leases, below market leases. Big difference. Go ahead, Dolan. I see we had a question come from TikTok. Let's throw them up. Okay, what about a fun car? I'm planning to keep my brand new car for 5 years. My previous car was a lease and traded in since I had positive equity. That you're going to lose. Keeping a car for 5 years, a brand new car for 5 years, you're going to lose. And I'm going to show you how big you're going to lose by doing this. You can't keep a car for 5 years. If you're telling me you plan to keep a brand new car for 5 years and then replace it, this is the depreciation curve. This is the depreciation curve. You're going on a sliding board. Whatever you paid for this car, let's say you paid $35,000. In 5 years, that car is going to be worth $17,000, maybe $15,000, depending on how much you drive. You're literally going down a sliding board, and then you're going down another sliding board when you get your next car. You're wrapping up money in these cars. Now, when we look at somebody like Ray, who kept his car for 9 years, his depreciation curve doesn't look like yours. It looks like this. See, this is what it looks like when you first buy the car. You're losing value every single day. You're losing thousands of dollars in value on a yearly basis. So when you go and say, all right, I'm going to just go buy this car, tie this up. Let me show you why you can't do that compared to someone who's leasing. You're going to spend thousands of dollars more. So you take somebody who got a below market lease like Zafrina. No, that's too. Let's use Zafrina. She gets a $65,000 vehicle. She's paying $579 a month. $65,000 vehicle, $579 a month. That's what we call a 1% lease or below. When you have your lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, that means that's a 1% lease or lower. She has a 0.88% lease. Now, she's not, over the next 3 years, she's going to invest in this car, $579 times 36. She's going to invest $20,000 to drive a $65,000 car. Now, if somebody bought this $65,000 car, what's their payment? Every $5,000, remember this rule, is about $100 a month on a 5-year loan. Remember that rule. Every $5,000, when you look at a car, is about $100 per month on a 5-year loan. So when you look at a $20,000 car, you should automatically say to yourself, that's going to cost me about $400 a month. You look at a $50,000 car, that's going to cost me about $1,000 a month on a 5-year loan. When you don't do that, now you let them put you in 6- and 7-year loans because you're not focused on what the real cost is. You're just like, get me to a low payment. I'll get you to a low payment. I'm going to put you in an 8-year loan. So we know this. Looking at her car, she would be spending roughly $1,300 a month if she bought that car. Even if she got an incredible deal, saved 10 grand off of the car, she's still going to be spending about $1,100 a month. She's putting $579 a month into this car. How do you compare $579 to $1,100? How do you compare $579 to $1,300? Let's say she bought a used version of this car. So instead of $65, she found a used one for $40. Every $5,000, $100, that's an $800 a month payment. How do you compare $579 to $800 for a used version? You can't. So when you're out here listening to people who've told you don't lease, they don't understand depreciation and they don't understand how to get below market leases. These are not regular leases. In order to get below market leases, you must employ competition. You must get at least 5 offers because every dealer's price is different. So when you walk into one Nissan dealer and they tell you it's $600 a month, you don't walk out and say, hey, Nissan's charging $600 a month. No, Nissan of Bay Ridge is charging $600 a month. But this Nissan deal over here might be at $500. This Nissan deal over here might be at $420. You need to stay at home, get multiple offers. You can do this my way through email using the systems in my book, or you can do it your way, calling around and get multiple offers. But once you see how different these offers are, you'll realize how many dealers have been ripping you off. And 80% of them do this. 80% of them, their best offer is not going to be below market. They're going to make a certain amount of money or they won't sell the car to you. But we find the ones who will. All of this is in my new digital book, Cars from Home. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. You'll have everything we teach step by step. You can Google the book, Cars from Home. It's already 5-star rated. We've already got tons of people using it, talking about it. And this is what I want for you. I don't want you paying above market or market value like everyone else is paying. You need to be paying below market value. And the only people that pay below market value are people with strategy. Okay, so I would tell you, Kitty Cafe, the first thing you need to be concerned with is actually leasing and not buying. You said you were a leaser. See, and oftentimes people who go from a lease to a purchase, I'm sorry to say you didn't get a good lease deal. Because if I'm paying, think about what Zafrina's paying. Let's continue to use Zafrina as an example. If Zafrina's paying $579 a month for a $65,000 car, $579 a month only gets her about $28,000. Let's call it $30,000 on a loan. So for her to go and get the same $579 payment, she's going to only have about $30,000 to spend on a car. If she goes with a 6-year loan, maybe she can get like a $33,000, $34,000 car. That's it. That's her loan. So she's going to have a hard time going from a $65,000 vehicle to a $35,000 vehicle. Most likely she's going to get something used. It's going to be older, and she's going to be like, wow, I'll just keep leasing. But if she was paying what other people are paying for this same Jeep, which is probably, I would say a lot of people for the same Jeep would probably be paying about $800, maybe $900. People with no strategy, they're probably paying $900 a month to drive this $65,000 car. It's easy to justify. So they're paying $800-900 a month. Then yeah, she might say, well, maybe I'll just buy something because I'm paying almost $1,000 a month to lease. But that's the difference between a below market lease and an average lease. There's a big difference. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. The leasing versus buying thing is really what's hurting a lot of you. The leasing versus buying thing and the not getting below market leases. There's so many bad things about what's been out here with leases. It's horrific. I spend every day putting out information trying to dispel this. But I realize there is so many voices that have told you guys things, but here's the thing. I talk numbers and I show numbers. If you pay attention, the people who tell you about leasing never talk numbers. They never show you numbers. All they do is rent. Leasing is renting. Leasing limits you. You limit, they pick your mileage. You pick the mileage. It's so much bad information. But I've been leasing since I'm 22 in the car business. Got my first lease, Pontiac G6, $20,000 vehicle. I was paying $256 a month for it. Meanwhile, I had a friend, they're paying almost $500 for a Toyota Corolla. We both got a car for about the same time. They're paying $500. I'm paying $256. I'm seeing what they're going through with their car breaking down, getting older, because they kept the car for a while, getting older, and now I'm on my second car, paying a low payment. And as a young person, you don't want a $500 payment. I didn't need a $500 payment when I was 22. Just had my daughter. I needed that $256 payment. They had just had a family too, but they got to come up with $500 a month to drive about the same price car. The Corolla and the Pontiac G6 at that time were about the same price. You can't justify to me in any way that makes more financial sense. There's nothing you can say to me unless that person's going to keep the car, pay it off, and then keep the Corolla forever. If you're going to keep the Corolla for 10 years and then you pass it down to your daughter or your son at their first car and now you just got an extra car, that's a different story. You shouldn't be leasing if you're that person. But if you're a 5-year, 6-year owner, 7-year owner, and you're just paying these high payments, you pay your cars off, and then you go back into another finance, you're just overpaying. You're throwing thousands of dollars out in the garbage, and there's no way around it. You put me against anybody. You put me on the stage with Dave Ramsey himself, the guy who has programmed thousands of people never to lease cars, and you give me 15 minutes. I don't need 2 hours with Dave. I don't need to debate you for 2 hours, Dave. If we're not talking about investing in mutual funds, you do a great job there. We're talking about the financial aspects of below market leases. Let me show you what a below market lease looks like. Let's consider what a person who buys their car is going to pay versus a person who gets a below market lease. Let's look at the resale values of this person who buys their car. When they go to trade that car in, what they're going to get back. And let's look at the net money they have lost compared to the person who got the below market leases. I will prove it to you in 10 to 15 minutes. And are you willing to tell your millions of people that you have programmed incorrectly because you know nothing about buying cars? You have programmed people based on you being a financial advisor, not a car person. You haven't seen thousands of car transactions to be able to say what you're saying. I've been involved with credit. Credit's a big part of what I do over the last 15 years. I don't teach it. Why? It's not my expertise. It's not my lane. It's easy for me to say, hey, I got a lot of people need to know about credit. Let me just start giving y'all some credit advice. No, because I respect the people who have learned credit to the T. Dave Ramsey decides I want to teach about cars. That's where he has led millions of people astray. And he has thousands of people investing in cars, short term, losing on resale, getting killed by depreciation. And they're like, well, Dave told me to do this. It's hard. It's hard to help. It's hard to get those people to unlearn. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We will get through as many as we can in the stream. Good point. I only financed as I wanted to upgrade from my lease. My lease was $180 a month for 36 months. That's a big change. $180 gets you $10,000 on a finance. That's all $180 a month gets you. Now, if you put money down, that's different. Obviously, there's a lot of cars most cars don't lease for $180. So I'm assuming that you put some money down to get there. But again, what were you driving for these payments? You're driving a brand new car. There's no comparison. When you're getting below market deals on leases, there's no comparison. Again, let's look at Charles. Charles gets a Palisade, $48,000 vehicle. Some people, and you may own one of these. And if you were honest, you say, Deshone, I own that vehicle. How much is your payment? No money down. Probably $800-900 a month. Probably $1,000 a month. He's paying $597. Some people say, oh, Deshone, don't they limit you on mileage? No, you pick the mileage. Look at Jen. Jen got her Honda CRV. She's paying $512 a month. It's a $40,000 vehicle. That's normally $800 a month to buy on a 5-year loan. She's paying $512 a month, and then she upgraded the mileage from $12,000 to $18,000, and her payment went from $512 to $563. 40 some odd dollars. She gets to drive as much as she wants, as she needs to drive, not as much as she wants to drive, as much as she needs to drive. And the problem that that you may have with leasing is you didn't get the mileage you needed, and then you started blaming the lease. You knew you drove 15,000 miles a year, but instead of getting 15,000 miles a year, you took the 10,000 mile a year option. You looked at the payment for 10,000 because you might have not been getting a below market lease, so the payment was high, and you're like, okay, well, just give me the 10, and then you know you needed 15, so now you're going to pay the penalty based on not the lease's fault, based on you. You could have paid $45 more per month, got every bit of mileage you needed, and then you could have enjoyed your lease hassle-free, dropped it off in 3 years, no problem. So people are blaming the lease for their lack of understanding about how they don't pick the mileage for you on the lease. You pick the mileage. We got people who drive 25,000 miles in lease because they don't want to keep their cars tied up and have that depreciation on a car they own. If they drove 25,000 miles, any high mileage drivers, type HM into the comments. Any high mileage drivers, you drive over 18,000 miles. If you bought your car, tied up that money in that car, and depreciated it with high mileage, that car is going to be worthless in 3 years because you put 75,000 miles on it, and then you come back to replace it, and you have 15 grand of negative equity, and you wonder why. You depreciated the car. Meanwhile, when I was at Hyundai, I worked at Hyundai as a manager for 6 weeks. I had a guy who came in, he was dropping off his lease. I learned something incredible. I said, car had 72,000 miles on it. I said, you leased this? He said, yeah, I used to buy. I stopped buying because I would always have negative equity. I only lease now. 25,000 miles a year. I drop it off every 3 years, get me a new one. I'm in sales. I looked at his lease contract and I saw that his payment was less than $200 a month more than what a normal below market lease on that Sonata was. If a normal below market lease was $350, he might have been paying like $550, $525. It wasn't $700. He was paying a couple dollars more, but he could drive 25,000 miles a year, drop that thing off, never have to worry about negative equity. Mileage doesn't stop you from leasing. It's not about how much you drive. It's about how long you're going to keep the car. because a below market lease is how we beat depreciation or long-term ownership. Nothing to do with how much you drive. You pay for the mileage whether you buy or lease. Doesn't matter. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll get through as many as possible. What's up, Ashley? What's up, Kenyari? What's up, boss babe? Ashley, good to see you. But I made my wife lease a brand new electric Equinox, $350 per month, and no sales tax. The $180 was a 2021 Corolla lease before the chip shortage for $3,000 down. Solid, solid. These are the things that you don't want to get away from until you're ready to keep a car long term. If you are leasing and not keeping cars 8 years, keep leasing. Make sure you're getting multiple offers so that you can get these below market leases, so that you're not paying these prices on the commercials that you see with $5,000 down and all of this tax that's not included. We are getting below market leases, and in order to do that, you must get 5 offers, at least 5 offers. Now you get these below market leases, and you keep doing that until you are ready to buy something. Because as Cafe just said, if he's paying $3,000 down, $180 a month, somebody who bought that Corolla is paying $3,000 down, $500 a month, because a Corolla is probably about 25 grand now. So that's a $500 a month payment with their taxes that they're paying when he's paying $180. This is not, look, for a brand new electric Equinox, he's paying $350 a month. This is someone else who knows how to get great lease deals, whether he's negotiating for them or whether he's calling around getting multiple offers. It doesn't matter. He's getting prices that you are not getting. And that's the prices we get. You want to understand that all prices aren't the same. There's below market price, there's market price, there's above market price. Above market is for the people with no strategy. You just walk in and you sign the deal. You might say no one time, and then the next offer you sign it. Market value is for the negotiators who are trying to feel for the bottom. You don't know where the bottom is, but you say, hey, take $2,000 off, we got a deal. Give me invoice price, we got a deal. You're paying market value. You're not getting anything special because there's hidden money, rebates, incentives that you don't know about. There's markups in the lease contracts, in the money factor, money hidden, you don't know about. And you'll never know about it until you get multiple bids. But below market price is reserved for the people who are shopping multiple dealers. We do it from home, getting multiple offers, and now you're paying $350 a month for a car that other people are paying $600 a month to own. You cannot justify pulling up in the same car and one of you is paying $350, one of you is paying $600. But the one who's paying $600 says, well, I'm going to own this. But by the time you pay it off, you're just going to turn around and get another car and do it all over again. So you never win, ever. It's a bad way to move. Go ahead, Dolan. What's up, Ray Johnson? Do you need to... Hold on. Do you need to know all the bells and whistles? I don't know what that means. Can you rephrase that question? Let's type it in another way because I don't know what you mean by that. Can you elaborate? What about the people that drive high miles? You should still be asking yourself, how am I going to beat depreciation? The first step in my process is to determine what I'm going to do to beat depreciation on this depreciating asset I'm buying. So if you're a high mileage driver, you drive more than 18,000 miles per year, you're depreciating your car so rapidly that in 5 years, you're going to have, call it 100,000 miles plus on the vehicle, but your loan does not move that fast. Most of your loans are going to move this way, but your depreciation is moving like this because you are just using the heck out of the car. This is point and proof that you pay for usage, whether you buy or lease. If you bought a car and put 100,000 miles on it, you do pay for that. If the same person bought the same car, but they only put 50,000 miles on it, their car's worth more than yours. They can sell it for more. So you lose based on your usage. So in the short term, you can't win driving high miles because you are literally destroying the value of your car. Then you flip to another car. That'd be like you doing this. Hey, do me a favor. Give me this car, let me depreciate it like crazy, then let me swap it out and let me get this car depreciated like crazy, and you just keep doing it. Depreciate it like crazy, but you're never getting to the point where the car is paid off and now the car starts to depreciate like this. That's for the people. If you have a car that you've had for 10 years, 12 years, 9 years, 14 years, this is what the car is depreciating like. You're losing a little bit every year. If it was worth 9,000 this year, it's probably worth 8,200 next year. You beat depreciation. And that's when you enjoy, this is the benefits of ownership. This is what I call in my book, the reward stage. You don't get here without long-term ownership. And if you're not built for long-term ownership, that is okay. But what you should be doing is doing what my client who was in Hyundai did, doing your high mileage lease, shopping for a below market lease, and then driving the mileage you need and dropping off your car in 3 years and going and getting a new one over and over again. You're never tying up your money in these cars. If you're going to tie up your money in these cars, you better have it in there for the long run. If you're going to tie up your money for 5 years in a depreciating asset, you are losing money in depreciation. Like you can't get it back. That's why you're never happy with what the car is worth. When you come and find out what your car is worth, you're like, I can't believe that's all you're giving me for my old car, because you're thinking about how much you put into it. Long-term owners like this, those of you who have cars that you kept for 12 years, you're not thinking about the resale value, right? Right or right? You're like, Sean, I got so much money out of this car. I had this car, man. The transmission went out. I put a new transmission in it. I got my money out this car. That's the benefit of buying. And if you're not buying, you should be if you're not getting there, you should be shopping for below market leases, never tying up your money in these cars to begin with. It's only 2 ways. Get out the middle. It's 3 people. Long-term keepers, short-term leasers, then it's the people that's stuck in the middle. You buy your cars, trade them in. You lease the car, you buy the lease. Stuck in the middle. Go ahead, Dolan. All of this is in my new digital book. If you're like, Deshone, there's no way I'm going to remember this. You can get my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who has rated and reviewed the book on Goodreads. We appreciate you. You can get your copy. It's normally $97, but for the next 30 minutes, you can get your copy for $24, which is 75% off if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comment link, or the Facebook comment link before the 30-minute timer hits 0. After the timer hits 0, price does go back up to $97, and it's worth every penny of $97. This book will be the top 3 most valuable books in your library. And when I say valuable, I mean the books that save you money. There's only a few books. I got a bunch of books. You guys can see I'm grabbing them. There's only a couple of these books that have actually put money in my bank account or helped me save money. There's not a lot of them. This will be the top 3 most valuable books to your bank account. That's all I care about. So go grab your copy, TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube link, or Facebook comments, and you'll have everything we teach in the blueprint of how to get below market leases, below market purchases, below market new cars, used cars, high mileage driving. Everything is in there step by step. It's a blueprint. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Buy a car for the first time. I'm going through my bank. My budget is $8,000 and I finance the rest. So you have $8,000 cash. You want to see, can I get a vehicle without using that cash? So if you're talking about financing, first thing you want to decide is, what can we get without a down payment? So depending on where I want my payment to be, let's say $350 a month. Maybe I want it to be $350 a month for 5 years. Well, can I get a car with everything I want, everything I need, $350 a month for 5 years? That's my budget. If I could do that, I don't need a down payment. Now, if you say, okay, $350 a month for 6 years, no money down, that's a little more money. If you say, all right, $350 a month for 5 years, but then I'm going to use some of my down payment. Now I can get even more car. And then your max budget might be $350 a month with my down payment for 6 years. See, all of those numbers didn't change, but the terms changed and what you bring to the table changes. That budget doesn't change, but you don't realize if I get a car for $350 a month for 5 years, I paid less than if I get a car for $350 a month for 6 years. So these is how we budget. I actually have a tool in my book called the Perfect Budget Calculator I created, where you put in your preferred down payment, you put in any equity you have from your old car, you put in your max monthly payment, you put in the average interest rate, and it'll give you up to 6 goals that you shop from. So when I went and got my used Infiniti truck, I had 6 goals. One of them was no money down 5 years. Next one was no money down 6 years. Third one was money down 5 years. Money down 6 years. Then the fifth one was money down and the equity I had from selling my old car. And then the sixth one was money down, equity, and 6-year loan. See, there's multiple ways to budget where you don't go over your max. But I find the problem is when we budget with our max in mind, I only want to spend $500 a month, $500 a month, $500 a month. You usually go in and you spend what? $600, $550. You're putting $1,500 on a credit card because you didn't calculate the taxes. The tool in my book, the Perfect Budget Calculator, calculates the taxes in your state. So you don't go in and say, oh man, I didn't know there was another $3,000 in taxes and fees. Who's had that happen? Oh man, I thought we was making a deal, but you forgot about the taxes and fees. See, all of this stuff you don't realize should be normal in a complex financial transaction. But what they've taught you in the car business is to just treat car buying like you're buying a TV because it makes them very rich. I've been in the business for 14 years. I sat next to people who I know shouldn't be in the business, but they're not going to get them out the business. They make a lot of money for the dealerships. They'll always have a job. Even if they get fired here because the customers start complaining, they'll go there and they'll say, hey, look, I made 300 grand at my last place. Oh man, when can you start? These people are always going to have a job. So when you look at the industry and say, okay, if this is what the industry is like, what do they care about me? They don't. The 20% of dealers who get up every morning and they do the right thing. They want to beat their competition. They're honest. They want to make sure that they're giving you the best service. It's 20%. 2 out of 10. You're going into your local dealer and you're buying from them, not realizing that's an 80% dealer. All they do is make a lot of money on their customers. If they can't make a lot of money on their customers, they won't sell the car. And you know what's beautiful about the car business? For those of you who are wolves and sharks and evil, it's not about the customer winning. It's about you making the customer think they won. I'm going to say that again. For those of you who are like, what business could I get into where I can make 200 grand? And I don't need to have morals as long you are trained to make the customer think they won. And that's all it's about. If that's why you start high and you come down. If you know your price on your car is $600 a month, you start at $800. This is what the worst people do. You know that the full price for your car is $600 a month. When Mr. Jones sit down, hey, Mr. Jones, all right, we got a great proposal for you. Great news. We're going to make you a great deal today. Your payment's $790 with $2,000 down. What? That seems like a high for this car. The car's only this. That seems real high. And then I didn't even want to do any down payment. All right, so you didn't want to do a down payment. So, all right, look, if I could get the down payment out, your payment would go from $790 to now it's $840. No down payment, though. What's more important than you, the payment or the down payment? No, well, both. But what's more important? If you had to pick one, well, I really don't want to do any money down. All right, so right now we're at $840. Where can we agree? I'll talk to my manager. Where can we agree that you'll be happy? Because I want to make you happy, Mr. Jones. Nah, I mean, I'm thinking of paying I really wanted to be at $500, Mr. Jones. I understand. Where'd you come up with that number? I just thought I'm looking at the car. I'm thinking, 500 seems fair, but follow me, Mr. Jones. You're looking at this car. You know where the demand is. You know there's no cars around. This is all stuff that's not true. You don't know where the demand is because you haven't shopped. There's no cars around. You don't know that because you haven't shopped. But these guys we are absolutely trained to, if you want to use your powers for evil, it is very easy to get you. That's why we don't shop that way. I would never send you in to deal with people who negotiate every day for a living like this. Your power is being at home, having multiple dealers compete for your business, and that's how people like Tasha get these deals. Thousands off on a brand new car, only 1-year-old car. This is how we got grandmothers who do this. Look, India, ridiculous deal on a Toyota. Look, Hyundai, $365 a month, no money down. 2024 Hyundai Elantra, limited with the leather in it. She didn't get that going in negotiating. You can't. But from home, that's where the power is. That's why our entire system is called Cars from Home. I can sit here and walk you through why you can't win. I don't care who you are. So when I'm telling you, you have to change the way you shop. When people say there's no deals, they're right. To you, there's no deals. To someone who doesn't have shopping strategy, doesn't know how to put dealers against each other, there are no deals. But to people like us, we've been making deals. Let me show you, Bonita. Let me show you a pandemic deal. When people were out there thinking, no deals, Deshone, this is so bad. When is the market going to change? Look, Bonita, 2022, she leased her dream vehicle, a 2023 Kia Telluride. She put $600 down, drove off $600 a month. She gave him $600, drove off. No money down lease. People were leasing and buying these vehicles for $10,000 over sticker. I'm not on here to talk to you about hundreds of dollars. What do I care about hundreds of dollars? You think we're on here? You think we're getting together to gather you guys to talk about hundreds of dollars? That doesn't matter to me. Thousands is all we talk about. Every single thing we discuss here is $1,000 mistakes. You not leasing when you should be leasing. $5,000, $7,000 mistakes minimum. You not getting multiple offers on your car. Could be depending on the car, you look at somebody like Kimberly. Kimberly gets $20,000 off her Maserati. $20,000. Sean gets $20,000 off his F-150 Lightning. These are just some of the, look, even somebody like Tiffany, let's take a smaller discount. She gets a Mazda CX-90. She gets $6,500 off. What happens? There are people who got that same car. You won't say, they're not going to say it. They'll never say it. They'll never come on here and say, hey, Deshone, I got that same car you just showed her get, and I only got $2,000 off. They won't say I overpaid by $4,500 because I didn't know this. But I'm telling you, I know this because I've been working with people around the country. So understand, we're not here to talk small numbers. When we're tapping in, we're asking you to tap in, lock in, so that you can actually keep thousands and thousands of dollars in your bank account instead of putting it in these cards or giving it to these dealers. That's it. So everything we discuss is out of my new book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a 7-step process. Doesn't matter whether you're leasing, 7 steps. Doesn't matter if you're buying new, 7 steps. Buying used, 7 steps. You want to sell your leases, which who didn't know you could sell a lease? Put a question mark. Who didn't know you could sell a lease? Type a question mark in the comments. Question mark. Deshone, what do you mean you could sell a lease? Okay, thank you. We're renovating with the jeans. Okay, look, Lynn, Brooke, Miss Tucker. Look. How much does that cost you? Not knowing, and we begin to teach people to do this during the pandemic because every single car was $7,000 to $10,000 more than it was truly worth. So a Jeep Grand Cherokee, I sold my Jeep Grand Cherokee for $28,000 after I had leased it for 3.5 years. 39 months, I leased it, and then I sold it for $28,000. The vehicle, brand new, was $35,000. Brand new, that Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo that I leased for $330 a month, paid $330 a month for 39 months. I sold it for $28,000. CarMax won the bid, and I put $9,800 in my pocket. I helped my mother sell her lease on her Mazda CX-5 for $10,200 in equity she put in her pocket. Now, those equity numbers don't exist anymore. That was a once in a lifetime seller's market. Well, so far in our lifetime, so far, there's people who still want that. They still are basing, and you may know people who are like, hey, well, I'm gonna buy this car and I'm gonna flip it because I bought a 2019 Mustang and then I sold that Mustang in 2021 and got all my money back. Try that again. You're gonna lose everything. It's over. It's over. That was a limited inventory, global shortage, chip shortage. Everything's worth $7,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 more. Those who cashed out won. Those who cashed out at that time won big. You can look back over history, and I helped a lot of people do that. You can look at my videos. Some of my biggest videos, 5 million views, 3 million views, was how to cash out. People coming on there, yo, I just sold my lease. I made $7,000. Yo, I made 10 grand because of you. Yo, I sold 2 leases. I'm telling everybody during the pandemic, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out. You won't be able to do this again. But there's still money to be made if you have equity in your lease. There's still $2,000, $1,700, $3,000, $4,000. Some of you low mileage people who you lease, but you only drive 5,000 miles a year. There's equity there. But you got to know how to get it. You got to know how to get bids. What's the process? And get we get bids from CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. What is that strategy alone worth? Just the cash out, just the equity assessment, step 2 in my process is worth. For those of you who trade in cars, that right there, one step out of my 7-step process is going to be worth thousands of dollars to you. So you can get my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership, and you can get it for 75% off. That's my welcome offer to you, but it's only for 30 minutes. You go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link, and get your copy for 75% off. You won't even pay the $97 price. You'll pay $24, but you got to get there before the timer goes to 0, and then it goes back up to $97, which is worth every penny. Book's worth every penny of $97. It'll be in your inbox in 2 minutes. And make sure as soon as you get the book, you screenshot the thank you page, because the link to open the book is actually on that page. You open the book on that page, and I also email you a copy, but my support team's email is actually on that page as well, because sometimes you type your email wrong, you're typing fast, you're trying to hurry up and get it before the sale, and then you end up typing your email wrong. We can't send the book to a wrong email, so that you'll have my support team's email there. But this is the most serious thing outside of buying a house. There's nothing more serious to me. And some of you are not going to even buy houses. Some of you like, Deshone, I'm a renter. I don't plan on buying. That means the car is your most expensive purchase. And you're going to do it over and over again. You might have 5, 10 of them in your lifetime or more. You lose $5,000 on every one because you didn't have strategy. That's a tough gig. That's a tough gig. I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I'm not going to be. And anyone who's listening to me is not going to be. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's keep the show on the road. Do you need to know all the extras you want? Upgraded sound system items that are not in the base price? Absolutely. Whenever we buy a new car or we shop for a lease, we always build our car. We go on the site because we want to know everything's available, because we don't want to get a car and find out there was an option we wanted that we didn't get. And we also want to know what we can live with and live without. And we want to build our car to come up with an MSRP. So if the car you want the panoramic sunroof, you want the blind spot monitors, which most cars come with now, whatever it is, you need to have an idea of what that's going to cost. So once we build out our car, we determine our car is $42,900 the way we want it. Now, most times we're going to reach out to dealers and they're not going to have the exact car. That's why we always come up with, and when we're leasing, we come up with a couple colors. Buying, we don't compromise as much, because this is a car you need to love. You're going to have it for 8+ years. You don't want to compromise on what you want, or be talked into something, or let you convince yourself of getting something, a color you really don't love, because you're buying this car to keep it for the long run. Now, on a lease rather, you can be much more flexible, because in 2.5 years, you're getting ready to shop again. You get a 3-year lease, 2.5 years, 6 months left, it's time to shop again. So we want to make sure we can be more flexible with that. But yes, we want to know how much it's going to cost so that we can start to budget We always say with a lease, when we build out our car, we take 1.25% and we use that as a gauge of around about what it should cost. So if we're looking at a car that's 42,300, we multiply that by 0.125 and we say, okay, 528, that's a fair below market lease deal. Now, if we can do better than that with bids, we will. If the lease program is not as good, when we get our bids, it might come in at 1.3, 1.4, our best offer. We're going to have more offers than that. If your other offers aren't higher, then you didn't shop the right way. Because when you shop, you should see a $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 difference from your best offer to your worst offer. When you get offers the way we teach, you're going to get more market value, below market value, above market value. You're going to see them all. And you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe all these dealers, this their best offer? Yes, they want to sell and make a lot of money. But we don't care about them. I don't focus on the 80%. We're looking for the 20%. So we use this as a gauge to say, all right, this is around about what I think I should be looking at paying, depending on the deal that I get when I actually get my offers. So that's why it's important for us to build the car. Those are all the reasons it's important for us to build the car before we actually go shop for it. Okay? It's a great question. I see you. I'm leasing this year. There you go. If I could get more people to lease, wake up and look. I don't want you leasing if you're keeping your cars 8 or more years. That's the key, because sometimes people will come on the stream, hey, is this all about leasing? No. If you're buying, there's so many things you need to know about getting below market purchases. New cars, used cars, we haven't had those questions come in. People are not really asking questions about used cars and things of that nature, but I'm answering the questions that Dolan puts up that you guys are writing. So when we look at purchasing, there's a ton of questions that we got to look at, ton of questions. But when it comes to people not keeping their car 8 years, you should be shopping for leases. You're not keeping a car long enough to beat the depreciation. The depreciation's going to kill you, not the loan. Doesn't matter. Loans, okay, you could pay cash. Doesn't matter. The depreciation's going to kill you. That's what you're doing. You're buying a depreciating asset, trying to keep it short term, flip it, and do it again. You can't win. The only way to win with a depreciating asset is long-term ownership, or never tie your money up in it in the first place, which is a below market lease. Go ahead, Dolan, throw that one back up. Arturo, does your credit score affect the lease? Sure. You want to have fair credit. I always tell people you want to get to about a 660, 680, similar to if you were trying to get a good deal on a house. You would be trying to set yourself up with a good credit report to buy a house. Now with leasing, you can also lean on payment history. So if you have a $400, $500 a month payment, you've been making it on time for 2 years, that weighs heavily in you getting approved. I always say it's nothing that gets you approved for a new car like a paid on-time payments for your old car. The banks look at that and say, well, hey, we can see, yeah, credit cards might be high, but they never miss the payment on their car. They never miss that $500 payment. That means something to the banks when your credit score is a little in that marginal in that marginal range or that mid range. So I always tell people, get to a fair range, work on your credit so that you're able to lease, and don't tie up your money in a long-term purchase because you can't lease right now. If I couldn't lease right now, my only mission would be to get an inexpensive car, get my credit to a 660, 670 to lease. I wouldn't be trying to get a Dodge Charger, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 car. I'm going to pay 20% interest. And when I go out to replace that car, I'm going to have so much negative equity because the interest alone is going to bury me because I don't have good credit. So now I'm no closer to leasing. My payment is going to be high. And I usually end up with an older car because I'm trying to squeeze my way into a nice car that I could show off and feel good about. Nah, I mean, I work hard. I want to be able to drive something that, I feel good about. But you haven't qualified yet. You haven't qualified to drive something great yet. If you have a 500 credit score, 600 credit score, you're not qualified to drive something ideal yet. You should be sacrificing to get set up so that I can make a power move. And what you do in getting set up is you get the least expensive car. that you can get a loan on. You get a $10,000 car, quality, small car. Try to get something that brand new was $24,000, $25,000, Hyundai Elantra. Get yourself a smallest car that you can qualify for, and you have minimal payments, $200, $250 a month payments. You pay those payments on time. You make sure it's a quality car, and you go and you make a move for a lease once you've established yourself. Or you can just do what other people do and say, you know what, who could get me in this brand new whatever, or who could get me in that, used Mercedes? And you're going to lose in every way. The quality of the car is not going to be ideal. The loan is going to be out of control. The interest is going to be great, ridiculous. You might not get a great price on the car because you come in looking desperate. You need a car, not want a car. You need a car. So nothing is working for you. Everything's against you. So it's much better for you to discipline yourself. Say, look, I don't mind driving something that I don't feel great about, but I'm working on my credit. I'm going to make these payments on time. I'm going to get myself to a 660. I'm going to have 2 years of on-time payments, and then I'm pulling off the lot in a brand new lease. Power moves. That's a plan. Go ahead, Dolan. And in my book, that's called the SMART car strategy. It stands for saving money at the right time. If you can't qualify for a lease, your only goal should be to set yourself up to lease. Now, if you're buying and your credit's not good, I'm an 8-year person. I keep my cars 8 or more years. Nothing wrong with buying a higher priced car and refinancing it later. So if you say, hey, I need to get, if you're a long-term person, your goal should be get a great price on the car. You're going to pay more in interest and then fix your credit. And instead of changing the car in 2 years to a lease, you would change the loan, refinance, and then you would keep the car. So it's depending on long-term versus short-term is everything. That's why in my book, it is step 1. You need to know from the get-go, am I a long-term person, 8+ years, or not? Because that's going to be the foundation we build on. Everything else comes after that. Karen, thank you for helping with my digital book. I wasn't checking my email. Of course, we want to use cars. So you're just following the multiple marketplace strategy. There's steps before that. And here's what I tell you, guys who have my book, ask yourself, what step am I on? This is what I tell everybody that I work with. Ask, what step am I on? Because if you're doing step 3, but you have not done step 1, that's a clear indicator. Oh man, I haven't done step 1. Step 1 is leasing versus buying. Most important question. How are we beating depreciation? We go into deep. I show you lease scenario, purchase scenario, lease scenario, used car scenario, to make it very clear that if you set out to buy, but you should have leased, can't help you. You're lost. And I talked about that earlier. We ran Zafrina's $579 a month payment versus what a new car would cost her, which would be $900 or $65,000 car. That would have been $1,100. Or a used version was $800. So you can't compare that. If you go out and you get a great deal on a purchase and your payment's $700 a month, then that means that lease payment probably would have been $400 a month. There's no way to, how do I get out of this? You shouldn't have been in it. That's why this is step 1. So what was that question? What was that question? I don't even know how I got on that. Oh, you said I want a used car. Yeah. So so you want to ask yourself, where am I at in the process? Because we're not in the market until step 5. Step 5, we're in the market. That's when we're on our marketplaces, shopping, narrowing it down. We have specific ways we narrow down used cars. This is not just general information that you could find on social media and you Google it, how to buy a used car. Yeah, good luck. That stuff means nothing. Car salespeople are been watching those blog articles for years saying, okay, this is what they're coming to do. Don't tell them you have a trade-in. Okay, good. Stuff has been around for 20 years. What we're doing is we're narrowing it down when we get to step 5, based on title history, service records, accident history. Then we're narrowing it down and we're coming up with our top 5 choices, top 3 to top 5. Then we're verifying who has bogus fees, who put one price online that they're not going to honor. So all of these This is my top 5 list, but some of these might be fake prices. So we need to verify that. And then we're going to get the new car price to find out what the true discount was. How much was this vehicle brand new? When I bought my Infiniti truck, I narrowed it down to 4 choices. They were all white, between $30,000 and $32,000. Sounds similar. They're not. You're looking at 4 white Infiniti trucks between $30,000 and $32,000. Similar miles, all 2020s. They were 3 years old at the time. Looking at all 3, whoa, these vehicles look similar. Once I got the brand new price, I found out one of them was $46,000 brand new. The other one was $48,000 brand new. The other one was $52,000 brand new. And the one I ended up getting was $54,000 brand new. Big difference. See, so what seemingly was close was nowhere near close. The furthest apart was 54 to 46. It's an $8,000 difference between the least expensive one and the most expensive one. But without the brand new price, you don't know that. You're choosing the wrong vehicle, thinking, oh, I got a good deal. No, the good deal was that other one that you didn't pick because you didn't have the brand new price. So that's step 5. But we got plenty of things we do before that to verify the DNA of the vehicle, check the data. And look, let me be clear. It takes me 90 minutes to buy cars. I'm not putting a system together that takes days. I'm not going to do it. It's not necessary. Choosing your vehicle, that might take you days. Going and looking at cars, test driving, that might take you days. Deciding what you want. We call that shopping. That's a step in my book. Shopping, not buying. That's deciding what you want. But once you know what you want, 90 minutes. Now, first time you use our system, it might take you 2-3 hours because you're just learning. You're overthinking. Haven't trusted our process yet. That's normal. But once you see, wait, this is simple steps. I'm going to websites, putting information here, looking at this. This is stuff a high school kid would do. If I could teach a high school kid to buy a car, it'd be easier than some adults because they don't have to unlearn much. Adults, it's like, hey, but I don't have to go into the dealer. You know, hey, Deshone, I went into the dealer and this is what they said. Deshone, my dealer called me and they said this. Well, when did I tell you to talk to the dealer? I thought you were coming to use our system because you didn't want to talk to the dealers. Yeah, you're right. See, that's overthinking. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to lose because we got a lot. That's how a lot of people come. You're trained to do things one way. You have to unlearn that. But once you see what we do, you're like, man, I can do this again next time. It'll take me 2 hours. I get any car I want in the country, Bentley, Rolls Royce, Corolla. It's going to take me 90 minutes because I'm using the internet. We're emailing. You know, I'm not getting in my car and driving to a dealer. So that's what we need to focus on. I know you have the book. Make sure you're asking yourself, where am I in the process? Start with step 1, just check them off. Step 7 is delivery. So when you check off delivery, you're done. You got your car. All right. Everything that I'm teaching is in my new book. It's called Cars from Home. It's a digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off. It's part of my welcome offer. It's normally $97. But if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments before the 30-minute timer hits 0, you got your copy for 75% off, which is $24. And it'll be in your inbox in 2 minutes. So once the timer hits 0, price does go back up to $97. And it's still worth every penny at $97. Go ahead, Dolan. Dolan, you there? All right. Is it worth buying a BMW or Mercedes brand new or pre-owned certified? That's a matter of budget. As long as you're going to keep the car 8 years, the only difference between a new or used purchase is budget. And if you can afford both, now it's about your values. Do you want a new car because you only buy a new car every 10 years and you're like, man, I'm going to treat myself, I could afford it? Or do you want a pre-owned car because you're like, hey, I want to treat myself, but I could also take a 2 or 3 year old one and I'll be just fine with that. Now, what I always say, if you're going to buy something close to new, 1 or 2 years old, you need to shop the new market first because you might overspend for a 1 or 2 year old vehicle because you don't know what the new market is for a brand new one. So, example, Kimberly saves $20,000 off her Maserati. Sean saves $20,000 off his F-150. Milligan saves $27,000 off her Mercedes-Benz. So when you look at these vehicles, and I show these deals, if you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, that's Melissa. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, you can see these. You zoom in here, you can see she saved $27,000 off her Mercedes. And some of these vehicles, even with these leases, you'll see people have saved 10 grand, 7 grand. Now, let's take the more dramatic discounts over 10 grand. If you can save over 10 grand on a brand new vehicle, then that means when you go buy a 1-year-old one, what should you be saving? If I know that the new market is 10 grand off, then for a 1-year-old one, I'm looking for about 18 grand off. I'm not looking for 15 grand off. 5 more thousand, I'll get a brand new one. So I need to know what the new market is to know what the used market should be. Now, this is once you get to 3 years old, you don't need to do this because 3-year-old vehicles, there's a lot of options because there's only 2 ways dealers get most cars. They're going to buy them off their customers or buy them from auction, or they're going to buy them after the lease. So 3 ways. Buy them after the lease. Most leases are 3 years. They're going to buy them from their customers. Most people don't trade their cars in 2 years. Or they're going to buy them from auction. And most people are not getting rid of their cars in 1 or 2 years. So you don't have a lot of options to choose from. You have limited competition. And when you have limited competition, you have a high chance of overpaying. But if I shop the brand new market and I see, wait a minute, on this car, brand new, I could get $20,000 off. Now, some of you might say, wow, if I could afford, I'll just get a brand new one. If that's the market, because I didn't know that the discount was going to be that big. But once you see this, okay, I know I can't pay more than on a used one. See, somebody who would buy a 1-year-old F-150 Lightning, truck's normally 70,000, 73,000. So they might look at a 1-year-old one for 55 and be like, wow, that looks good. Thank you, Renovating with the Gene. They might look at it and be like, okay, wait, this is a 1-year-old vehicle and you asking 55,000 for it? That sounds good. Because it's brand new. How much is it brand new? Well, 73 brand new. Whoa, that's a big discount, man. All right, yeah, I ain't gonna even argue with you. Let me get that. Not realizing that the brand new market on that vehicle, the person saved $21,000. So 73, 63, 53. So literally the brand new market on that vehicle was lower than what you just paid for a 1-year-old vehicle. And what's going to happen when you go to resell that vehicle later? You're going to lose because you overpaid by thousands of dollars. So this is so important to understand. People overpay for used cars all the time for a variety of reasons. They don't know what it was originally. What was the original new car price? To even know they're getting a good deal on a used one. They don't know what the actual new car, again, this is for the 1 and 2 year people. You got options because somebody asked, hey, should I buy brand new or should I buy pre-owned? That means you probably have the money to afford both. So you might go out and buy a 1 or 2 year old pre-owned. But if you're like Milligan and you bought one of these electric ones, she saved $27,000. If you went in and you bought a 1-year-old one and you got 20 grand off, you might think you won. But she got 27,000 off a brand new one, which means if I saw 27,000 off a brand new one, for a 1-year-old one, I want 35 grand off. I want 38 grand off. The new market for this vehicle is very soft. So that means the 1-year-old market should be very soft. It's an extreme depreciation. Another reason why you don't buy these vehicles. Now, mind you, you know what I didn't mention? The people who paid for this vehicle and didn't get $27,000 off. It's people who are going to see this stream. Again, most of them will never say it. They have this same vehicle that Milligan has. Same $73,000 vehicle. They went in, they negotiated. They said, listen, all right, come on, man, make it 10 grand. 10 grand off. And they went home thinking, hey, honey, you're not going to believe this. Guess how much they took off the truck? How much? 10,000 off. They in there, oh, I won. See something like this? That's why you can't feel for the bottom. Negotiating and feeling for the bottom, wondering, all right, I think I'm at the bottom. That sounds good. You can't win. In fact, I've showed you multiple ways you can lose huge like that, and people are losing like that. You can't feel for the bottom. You don't know what we have as the dealers. You don't know what rebates I have. You don't know how many incentives I have. You don't know if the manufacturer sent us extra money because we got to move these vehicles. You don't know any of that. You come in and asking for the invoice. All right, invoice on a $73,000 car, 6.5% markup. All right, invoice is 57, and a good salesman's gonna fight you for invoice. They're not gonna just lay down and give you invoice, even if they sitting on 20,000 in rebates. A good salesman is fighting for every dollar of the commission. So you've been, hey, how they gonna fight? They got 20 more thousand. You telling me they got 20,000 in rebates and they gonna fight me for 1,000? Yes, because it's perception. If they take off $10,000 for you in a heartbeat, you might think, wow, you took off 10,000 a little too fast. This is how salespeople are trained. So I'm telling you, the people who believe it, they're going to win. If you listen to me, you're going to win. If you don't listen, you're going to keep losing. And when I say losing, I mean, show me your car deals. Show me your car deals. That's all I care about. Sean, I'm going to do it my way. Okay, show me your car deals. DM me. Sean, I did it my way. How this look? All right, would you bet me $1,000? I can't find a better deal than this. Would you take the bet? I'm looking at your deal. You did it your way. Yeah, I went in. I negotiated this thing. Okay. Would you bet me $1,000 that I can't find a better deal than this? Oh nah, man. I don't think I want to take that bet. I know you don't, because you don't have confidence that you actually got the below market deal. You might have got the best price from that one dealer. I don't doubt that. But that dealer is an 80% dealer, and his competition would blow this price away. But because you didn't talk to his competition, you never gave his competition an email, you never gave them an opportunity, you don't know that they would have beat this price by $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. That's what we do here. That's what Cars from Home is. That's why our system is called Cars from Home. All our deals, 90% of what we do is from home. 90%, and sometimes 100%. Only time we can't do 100% is if a dealer doesn't deliver or we're buying a used car. Used car, we must go to the dealer. We must test drive that. That's our last step in our process before we lock the deal up. We cannot, but we've had tons of people who never left their house. I have a couple of them on here. Delivered the car. Let's see, we got people on here. Leasing process went quick. Sent the email. Anyway, I could pull up a bunch of people who just did. That's simple, because dealers this is 2024. Like, people think Carvana is the only place that delivers cars. There's plenty of dealers, especially the 20%, that'll bring the car right to your doorstep. Look, about 5 days I walked out. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think we've done enough. Look, everything that we've taught today is out of my new book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a 7-step process that I've developed over 14 years in the car business to buy, lease cars, below market value in 90 minutes. This does not take a lot of time. This is the easiest way. You don't have to be a great negotiator. You will stay at home where your power is, where you can put dealers against each other, put banks against each other. Thank you so much, Renovating with James. And you can employ competition. The same way you shop for everything else, competition, you can bring that to your car deals. And that's the only way you're going to get below market deals. And that's the only way you're going to start to enjoy car shopping. When you're at home and tons of dealers and banks are actually competing for your business, you actually enjoy that. That's why when you see people like Teddy, who said that I will never lease another car any other way. Look, suppose it's a bit wordy. Look at Teddy. You got his BMW 2024 i4 M50, $73,000 vehicle. His best offer was $856 a month, which is a 1.16 lease. His highest offer was $1,123 a month from another dealer. His closest dealer, his local BMW dealer, was where was it? Look, the dealer closest to me was $986. His closest dealer that he probably drove by and saw the car and said, man, all right, I'm gonna work with them one day. $986 a month. He ends up paying $856, over $130 less than his local dealer. But he did it from home. And he said at the beginning, I will never, I repeat, never lease another vehicle any other way. Now, had he bought the car and got $10,000 off, he would have said, I will never buy a car any other way. The Cars from Home way is how you are in control, how you feel like the prize. And when that 20% dealer wins your business, you feel like you won. You know you won. So, all right, let me get out of here, y'all. Grab your copy as my welcome offer to you of Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. 30 minutes only. You can get it for 75% off, which so you won't pay the normal $97. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, click the picture of me, the YouTube link, or the Facebook link, and grab your copy. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, you got it for $24, and you'll have everything step by step. You don't have to remember any of the things we've spoken about over the last hour, 15 minutes. You don't have to remember them because you will have the blueprint step by step. Leasing step by step, buying step by step, selling leases, selling your cars. We never trade cars, getting out of negative equity. All in there, high mileage driving, everything in my 14 years of experience is in that book. All right, so I look forward to you guys using it. Make sure you send me your success stories. Write me emails when you make your deals. Let's continue to 30 minutes now. It's only available for 30. Now, it's available forever. $97 is the price. Normal price of the book is $97. But for 30 minutes, you can go to my TikTok bio and you can get your copy for $24, which is 75% off. All right. God bless you guys. I'll see you soon. And keep unlearning, keep relearning. Thank you. Thank you. Cynthia Page, good to see you. But the first thing I want to do is warn everybody to tell your friends, sell their electric cars. Show them the video. Show them why. Because this guy just said to me, no, I really think electric cars are always going to have their place. What's going on? Good to see you, Isaac. I appreciate you. And could everyone share this broadcast if you're a sharer? I realize everyone's not a sharer, but to the sharers, could you share this broadcast? Shout out to you. Warn your friends that if Donald Trump gets in, he's already said he's going to make sure we could always have gas cars. That's good. I like a gas car. I haven't bought an electric car yet, but a lot of people have. And the minute, automakers do not want to make electric cars. Take it from me. I was in the business for 14 years. They kept dragging their feet. What they did was they made better gas cars. Who remembers the V8 engines? Rest in peace. If you remember the V8 engines, type me. Who remembers the V8 engines? Type V8 if you remember when literally we had V8 engines up and down the road, vroom, 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 400, 500 horsepower engines. Those are a thing of the past for the most part. Why? Because automakers in the last 10 years started using turbochargers. You understand, Just Money? You understand? Started building turbochargers. And what they started doing was saying we can actually make vehicles that are not as hard on the environment. They also will produce similar horsepower and more torque. And we don't have to worry about having these issues with emissions and things of that nature. So they were taking steps to be more economic, more fuel efficient, and better for the environment. Now here comes the mandate to make half of the new cars electric by 2030. It started out as 2035. I don't know when it moved to 2030. The point is, 17 million new cars are sold a year. So 17 million new cars sold a year. That's a lot of cars to try to produce electric cars. That's why we got fires. I just asked Joseph Tepte. He saw the video. Who saw the video of the Tesla burning up the guy's house a couple days ago? Charging in his garage, whole house burns down. Why don't they want to make these cars? Too much liability. Too much liability. If they can escape that, they'd love it. They'd love to go back to 2019, not worrying. Let's just make some hybrids and let's make some fuel-efficient cars with turbochargers and things of that nature. What does that do for electric cars? The minute Donald Trump gets in, he announces gas cars are here to stay. Don't worry about it. Everyone's electric cars are going to be worthless. Your electric car that was worth 30 is going to be worth 20. You're going to lose 10 grand one day. Legislation changes things. Legislation affects the market. So my mission before Election Day is to get you to sell your cars. And if you're watching this as a rebroadcast, sell your car. Sell your electric car. Get into a gas car if you own your electric car. Go to CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus. Get your 6 cash offers. Sell these cars. You won't be able to. You will not be able to. You're going to be so far underwater. The market's going to be so soft. It's already soft. Google Tesla depreciation. See, I don't want to tell you guys something. Keep typing your questions. We're going to get to the question, but this is a warning, and most people are not going to take it. Most people, just like when I warned people in 2022, do not go out and buy these overpriced cars. Learn to shop so that you're not buying used cars that are going to be worth half because they were selling them all through the pandemic. 80% of dealers were selling used cars that were just 10, 20 grand more than what they should have been selling for. I told them, don't buy these cars, shop around. Now what we got? Thousands of people around the country who are $20,000 upside down, can't get out. I realize though, but if I could help 10 people, if 10 people say, Deshone, you know what? My man told me, he sent me your video. I sold my Mach, whatever it is, Ford Mach. I got out of that thing right before. I'm glad. If we can help a couple people, God bless us. Sell your electric cars. You won't be able to very soon. And if you're going to keep them till the wheels fall off, then it doesn't matter. If you're going to keep it till the wheels fall off, it doesn't matter. But if you're planning on replacing this thing in 2, 3, 4 years, sell now, immediately. Get out of it right now. All right. Let's go. All right, we got a couple questions. We're live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And, we'll be live for probably at least 45 minutes answering all types of questions. For those of you who don't know me, I'm known as Deshone, the auto advisor. I spent 14 years in the car business. Now what I do is show you how to make dealers bid for your business. Every dealer has a different price. All cars are cookie cutter. No matter how much you like a car, there's 100 of them in this country at minimum. Even the most rare cars, Bentleys, you have 20, 30 of them around the country that you can shop around so that you can see. But if you use online tools like the tactics I'm going to tell you in this live, you will save thousands of dollars. You'll get below market deals on leases, new cars, purchases very, very easily. Very easily. All right. So feel free to ask your questions. Let's get to it. I see we got a couple that came from TikTok. Dolan, you want to bring the first one up? All right, let's go. I drive a lot of miles. Is it worth it to get a leased vehicle? That's a great question. If you're a short-term person, if you're keeping your cars till the wheels fall off, no. If you drive 25,000 miles a year, but you're keeping that thing for 10 years, that's only 250,000 miles. You get a Honda, Toyota, there's several cars that will go 250,000 miles. No need to think about leasing. It's all up to if you're going to keep it 8+ years. You do not need to. Who keeps their cars on average more than 8 years? Type me. If you keep your and listen, some of you who are new here, you may not know how we do here. We use our keyboard. Listen, I know there's lives where you just sit back and you watch the person's telling jokes or just talking. We dialogue here because this is a finance channel, so we spend a time dialoguing. So stay close to your keyboard. That's how you're going to get the most out of what we're doing, and that's how you're going to save the thousands of dollars on your car. Okay, I see you, Alton. All right, I see you, Amanda. Okay, if you keep your car more than 8 years, Don't think about leasing. If someone in your house is keeping their car more than 8 years, they should not think about leasing. Doesn't matter how much they drive. Just get a quality vehicle, get a below market price, keep it long term. You're going to win. If you're not keeping it more than 8 years and you are putting high mileage on your car, you are losing more than anyone because your car is worth less depending on how much you drive. Let's just say you got a car that's worth 30,000 today. You drive average miles. Average miles. What's the car worth in a year? Throw some numbers out, y'all. Throw some numbers out. $30,000 car. You drive at average miles. What is it worth in a year? What does that car depreciate in a year? From 30,000 today, what is it worth next year? Throw a number out. Okay, Amanda, 19. That's fair. That's a little steep, but 18. Okay. Somebody said 10,000. Man, what kind of car you buy? Listen, that's how electric cars are about to depreciate. It's so funny. That's how electric cars are about to be. They're going to be worthless. The investment in the infrastructure isn't worth it. Okay, so now let's just say you have a $30,000 car. You drive it 40,000 miles in 1 year. 40,000 miles. Isn't it worth a whole lot less? Yes. So depreciation is what you're thinking about when you're considering when to lease. And what I teach people, this is step one, is if you're not keeping your car 8 years, you're not going to keep it long enough to beat the depreciation. The depreciation is going to kill you. Now, cash buyers understand. All my cash buyers type dollar signs. Dollar signs. Cash buyers understand because they buy a vehicle. If they went to replace it in 3 years, they see what it's worth. They know what they put in. They know what they're getting back. And they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Payment buyers, they don't. Because all you really care about is payment. So they manipulate payments on you, stretch the loan out, 6-year loan, 7-year loan. You don't see how much you lost, and that's why you think you won. But in depreciation, cash buyers will always see how much their vehicle has depreciated. So how do we avoid it? Below market leases. In the short term, if you are not keeping your car long enough to let the depreciation cool off, then you should be shopping for a below market lease. Now, let me show you what a below market lease looks like because you may have never seen one. I'm sure you've seen lease commercials, 3,000 down, 4,000 down, plus tax, all of this. But this is what a below market lease looks like. You take, let me do an average vehicle. Let's take Raphael. This is a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Pretty popular vehicle, common vehicle. 45,000, let's call it a $46,000 vehicle. She got it for $549 a month. 1.19% of the MSRP, no money down. She gave him her first month's payment. She drove out of there. That's a below market lease. Let me show you another one. Look, India. She got a new Hyundai Sonata Elantra. 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited. 36 months, $365 a month, no money down. That's a below market lease. So the key, there's 3 prices, whether you buy or lease. There's 3 prices you can pay. Market value, that's for negotiators. They're going to feel for the bottom. They're going to try to get to the bottom, but they won't ever know the bottom. So they're going to pay market value. Above market value is for people who just can't negotiate at all. You just kind of close your eyes and can't wait to get it over with. And then below market value. Now, how do we get below market leases and purchases? Competition. Very simple. Competition. Putting dealers against each other, buying cars like we buy TVs on Amazon, multiple offers, multiple options while we sit at home and let people bid and compete for us. That is below market shopping. Now, that's everything I teach in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. You can get a copy of it as part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally $97, worth every penny. You can see all the reviews. But if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments before 30 minutes is up, you can get yours for $24. That's 75% off. So you go activate your link, click the link in those bios or in the comments, and you can get a copy for 75% off. And you'll have everything I teach in a step-by-step way to getting these deals. But for sure, to just sum up your question and keep typing your questions, everyone, we'll get to as many as we can. If you're not keeping your car 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease, no matter how much you drive. Only caveat is if you're doing Uber or something where you can't predict your miles, the more miles you drive, the more money you made. That's a different structure. But it's just if you're in a sales job or you're a realtor, no question about it. Leasing is for people not keeping cars 8 years, as long as you get a below market lease. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. I see y'all running up the likes on TikTok. Shout out to everybody double tapping the screen. Let's go. Every time you hear something you like, if y'all keep double tapping the screen, y'all keep running those likes up. We appreciate you. And, shout out to the people who really support the movement, not the people who check into the broadcast, the people who support the movement, the sharers, the new followers, the people who tag their friends, the people who double tap the screen, the people who hit the like button. Shout out to y'all. We couldn't do this without you. We appreciate you. Banana phone, 10,000 down, 725 credit. What car should I get? It's a lot of them out there, man. Pick one that you like. And first things first, decide how are you already have the credit to buy or lease. I would really consider, see, that 10 grand down is how people, that car, if you don't buy a car right, which means you lease it, you buy it, but you should have leased, that 10,000 is going to be absorbed into that car. It's literally going to be sucked from your bank account into the car. You're not getting it back. You're not getting it back. So I'll give you an example. If we look at Zafrina got a $65,000 vehicle. No, that's Teddy. Let's use Teddy. $73,000 BMW he got. He put no money down. His payment's $856 a month. He used our system. We contact 25 dealers. Now you can do it your way. You want to call around, talk to managers, get offers. That's fine. I just recommend you get at least 5 offers. Because what we've seen, I've seen this, been in the industry 14 years. I've been helping people online for more than 3 years now, all around the country. 4 out of 5 dealers are overpriced. So once you get your offers, you need to get at least 5 for you to get the below market offer. But now he comes and he gets $856 a month, no money down. His highest offer was $1123 a month out of all the offers he got. He said he got 10 offers from home. That's why our system is called Cars from Home. We don't need to be in dealers to get below market deals. So if he had bought this vehicle, even if they gave him a big discount, instead of 73, let's say he got it for 63. Let's say he got 10,000 off. Let's round it up to 65, even though the taxes would be more than that. Let's round it up to 65. Every $5,000, I need my people who know this to get ready to type this. Every $5,000 that you borrow on a loan is about how much per month? Every $5,000 that you borrow on a loan, and I'm going to hop on Instagram because I want to see these comments. Thank you, Anthony Austin. Shout out to the people who tapped in. So check this out. If it's $100, it's $100 per month. So now, even if they got a new car, a big discount, $65,000, he's paying $1,300 a month. He's leasing it for $856 a month. So you can't make that make sense. There's a saying, it's taken off the last couple of years that math is not mathing. If I'm driving the same BMW as you and I'm paying $856, you're paying $1,300, you lost. Can we agree? Agree? Can we type agreed? If 2 people are driving the exact same car out the dealership, one's paying $856, no money down. One's paying $1,300, no money down. Can we agree to $1,300 loss? Can we agree? Agree, right? Okay, so this is deal structure. This is deal structure. Now, mind you, think of the scenario I just used. $73,000 vehicle. He got $10,000 off of it. That would be a good discount. I think anybody would feel good if that was the below market offer on a BMW, 10 grand off. I think anyone would feel good, man. I saved 10 grand off this thing, but you still lost. You're paying $1,300 a month for 5 years. This person paying $856 a month because you structured your deal incorrectly. You put it on the wrong foundation. Now, if you're going to keep the BMW till the wheels fall off, then buy it. Pay the $1,300, pay the thing off, and then you got a BMW that's paid off. You can keep it for 8, 9, 10 years. If that's the strategy, forget about leasing. But if you're not keeping it 8 years, you lost. So the biggest thing, Banana Phone, before you think about, oh, let me go get a car, I got great credit and I got 10 grand down, you're going to walk into a dealer, they're going to see you just like blood and sharks looking at blood coming to the ocean. Hey, look at this guy. And you got 10 grand? I want to get all of it. I'm going to get everything out of your bank account I can in the shortest amount of time I can. So instead of you doing that, you slow down. Decide, am I keeping this next car 8 years? If not, I should be shopping for a below market lease on whatever I want. And take the time to go look at cars. Take the time to go look at cars. Go test drive cars. You're about to go spend, you're about to make a 5-figure decision. Don't make that decision in a rush. Who'll go into the mall and let them rush them? I wish I would go into the mall to spend $30,000 and they rushing me. Hey, we close in a couple, come on now. So, that's why we're different. You go and test drive these cars. The only thing you want to do on our test drive process is test drive and leave. Get the card. Thanks a lot. Leave. Thank you. Leave. We never talk numbers in the dealership. So if you want a step-by-step process of how we do this, you can grab my new digital book, 75% off. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Everything in there about below market leases, below market purchases, below market used cars is in there in a step-by-step way. But the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, how many years am I keeping this next car? If it's not 8, you should be shopping for below market leases, or somebody's going to get all that 10 grand out of your bank account. It's going to go into theirs. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Keep typing, y'all. We'll get to as many as we can. Shout out to the people on Instagram. Shout out to the people on every platform that's tapped in. Shout out to the sharers. Thank you to everybody who shares the broadcast with somebody. We cannot do this without you, and we appreciate you. Let's go. When should I tell them about the GM Family First discount? As soon as you're getting your offers. As soon as you're getting your offers. Now, let me tell you something about the people who have GM Family, X-Plan Ford, Mercedes Fleet, any special pricing where you think it's going to eliminate you needing to shop around. You're going to leave big money on the table because 4 out of 5 dealers are going to lie. That's just what we know. Not just because I'm not saying that because I was in the business. I'm saying that because I have people all around the country who we shop together. So we have real-time data to show 4 out of 5 dealers on average is going to lie. They're not going to give you the GM price. If they give you the GM price, they're not going to give you any rebates they may have because they'll love for you to come in. That's why when you come in and say, hey, get me to the invoice price, we got a deal. Love it. You didn't know I got $3,000 in rebates. Just get them the invoice price, show them the invoice, write it up, deliver the car. Love it. So what you need to do is you need to shop around, get multiple offers, tell everyone who you're getting an offer from, you're a GM supplier or GM family, and then look at the offers while they're in front of you, while you're at home. Because you cannot depend on someone to say, here's the GM price. What other offers? What if there's $5,000 rebates? What if there's $1,000? They're not, if you didn't ask for that, they're not going to volunteer it. So when you're at home, you sit down, we contact 25 dealers. In my book, I have a system where I teach you how to go online, contact 25 dealers in 20 minutes using my email scripts, and you're going to get 5 offers in about 48 hours. It's constant. It's a system. It's the McDonald's system of car buying. Now, if you want to do it your way, you call around. What I'm telling you is get 5 offers because that's the only way you're going to prove to yourself that dealers are overpriced and you need to get 5 offers. See, like we said about Teddy's deal, his best offer on his BMW is $856. His worst offer is $1,100 plus. That was a dealership consciously wrote, hey, Teddy, that's our best offer, man. $1,100 plus a month, which means they ain't worried about selling that car to Teddy. Somebody else walks into the dealership and wants that BMW, they're going to sell it to them for $1,100. They'd rather not sell it to Teddy because they know someone's going to pay us $1,100 for this BMW. Unfortunately, some person who doesn't know what they're doing, they'll call them a sucker. Some sucker's going to come in here and pay this. This is our price. We don't care if Teddy doesn't want to take it. No problem. Someone else is going to pay it. So this is why we must shop around, because you don't know if you're dealing with what we call an 80% dealer, which are overpriced no matter how much you negotiate, or are you dealing with a 20% dealer? The only way we know that is by looking at all their offers, getting at least 5, and then picking the below market offer. Okay? All of this is in my digital book if you want the blueprint. It's called Cars from Home. You can Google it. 7 steps of saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who's reviewed it. And as part of my welcome offer, you can get yours for 75% off. In my TikTok bio, click that link, the Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, and you'll have it in your inbox in about 2-3 minutes. You'll have a permanent blueprint for how to get these below market deals from home. You won't be spending more than 20-30 minutes in a car dealership. And we never talk numbers in a dealership, ever, ever. Never talk numbers. You need to have a deal by the time you get to the dealership. If you're talking numbers, trying to get a deal in the dealership, that's never what we teach. We never do it. You have no leverage there. The car dealer has all the leverage, and you're emotional. No matter how much you try not to be emotional, the car is next to you, it's outside, you're emotional, and that's all going to work against you. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll get to as many as we can. What is a below market lease? 3 prices. Above market value, below market value, market value. What are average people paying? That's not a deal. If you walked into anything, anywhere, and you paid what most people pay or the average price paid, it's not a deal. It's average. Now, if somehow you don't know what you're doing and you're able to get hit with an offer that is above market value, whether it be, they're charging fake fees, or whether it be they're charging a market premium, or whether it be most people get a $5,000 discount, you got no discount, you paid above market value. But below market value is you see all the prices, you see the above market prices, you see the market value prices, you see the below market value prices, and then you pick the below market value. On a used car, there's a range. If I'm looking for a 2019 Honda Accord, there's a $5,000 to $7,000 range people are paying for this vehicle. Same car, similar miles. There's a $5,000 to $7,000 difference. And what we do with used cars is we actually get the brand new price, and that's what really helps us to get the below market value. I was shopping for a used Infiniti. I bought an Infiniti truck almost 2 years ago. 4 white ones I was looking at. They were all about 30 to 32,000. All 4 of them looked similar miles. But I pulled the new vehicle. I found out what each one of them was brand new. That made all the difference. That's in our process. Once I found out what they were brand new, I found out one was 46, one was 48, one was 52, and the one I ended up getting was 54,500 special edition. Cameras all around, all types of stuff in it that the other ones didn't have, but they were asking a similar price, below market. So for that, there's steps to get below market pricing. Below market doesn't happen because you want it to happen. Below market value leases, purchases, they're reserved for people with strategy and people who employ competition. You don't get below market deals by negotiating for them. It's competition. Looking at all the competition, you make your decision. You're probably getting below market deals on your TVs you buy, because you're going to go to Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy. You're not going to, but don't you see, whenever we buy these TVs online, don't we see higher priced TVs? Right? Right? Who's bought a TV in the last couple years? Say last 5-7 years, since Amazon has been it's been bigger longer than that, but who's bought a TV? A lot of people, right? Like, okay, we got a lot of people who bought a TV. When you got your price, didn't you see other TVs that were $200, $300, $400, $500 more? Someone's buying them. Someone's buying them. You go into Walmart, you see TVs that are lined up that are a whole lot more. Man, these TVs overpriced. Someone's buying them. So that, especially with cars though. And that's why you have to prove to yourself what below market deals is by shopping the market. And, we feel we have the best system to do that because we've helped more people do it than anyone. There's no one who has an official system for putting dealers against each other and creating competition like what we do, the Cars from Home system, be it in my book, be it in my coaching program, depends on how you like to learn, but all that info is in my bio. For those who want to know about my coaching program, where you want videos and you want to work with me directly, you can go to shopwithdeshone.com or you can go to my bios there. I don't care how you do it. And I'm going to continually say this. I don't care if you don't do anything, if you don't do it my way. But if you call around and you get multiple offers and you want to talk to dealers, I don't care. My biggest thing is you pay below market value. That's all I care about. I'm just going to give you my options on if you want to do it my way without talking to dealers. Here you go. But the biggest thing is do it. Okay? Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Let's go. Keep typing your questions. EHH, good to see you. Bernie Watt, shout out to the people checking in on TikTok. I see you, Nans. Good to see you. Good to see you, Michelle, 423. High mileage driver, limousine service. Should I do a used car lease? Not really used car leases out there. You're going to see people have tried it. Lexus tried it. BMW tried it. But we can't employ competition because there's not a lot of options. You're going to find that in a lot of cases, used car leases can be, they're made up prices. It's tough. It's hard to know if you're overpaying. But if you do find one, it's worth considering. But again, I'm not going to make a deal without having other offers. So 99 times out of 100, leases are brand new cars. And I don't want to assume anyone knows that. So that's a good question. Leases are brand new cars. That's another benefit of leasing. You're driving brand new cars. You're the first owner. Brand new car smell you're getting every 3 years, and you're paying cents on the dollar compared to what people are paying to purchase them, as long as you're getting below market leases. So if you know how much you're going to drive, I will be leasing. If you know I'm going to drive 25,000 miles a year, I'm going to drive 20,000 miles a year, in most cases, then I would be leasing. Now, if you go below that, you could always sell the lease. I know some of you don't know about, most of you probably don't know you could sell leases. We've been doing it for 3-4 years. It's always been allowed. But, during the pandemic, I saw the opportunity for us to make thousands of dollars selling our leases. And made lots of videos about how to sell leases. And a lot of people came and sold their leases when the market was hot and high. And some people made $7,000, $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 selling their leases. So although values are not that high, we still do a check before we return our lease. So if you're under miles, or for those of you who you only drive 5,000 miles a year, the minimum lease might be 10. You're just going to sell that lease at the end and make money on it. So, this is all in my book. That's step 2. We call that the equity assessment. We never return a lease without doing an equity assessment to find out if the market value we could sell it for is actually higher than the payoff amount. So, but yeah, what I would do is I would spend the time considering, can I plan my mileage? Can I predict it? Now, let's say you can't. Let's say you're like, Deshone, you know what? Some years I'm going to do 20,000 miles. Some year I'll do 40. Then I wouldn't tell you to lease. I would tell you to make sure that your loan, I want you to forecast. See, with a depreciating asset, what the people who learn from me, you're learning to forecast. You must forecast with a depreciating asset because you lose in the short term. When you buy it, you lose. So if you went to buy a stock and they said the stock's going to drop in the short term, but in the long term, it'll come back. In the long term, it actually makes then picture you trying to buy them and flip them in 2, 3, 4 years. You're going to just lose money, lose money, lose money. That's what people do when they buy cars that they only plan to keep for 4, 5, 6 years. You're losing in the short term. The depreciation is killing you, and it's killing your finances. So now you forecast out. How long am I going to keep this car, this limousine? You might say, all right, 4 years, I'm going to turn it. Your loan shouldn't be more than that. You should always, and this is for Uber drivers, Turo drivers, people who can't predict their mileage, always plan to take a loan that by the time you go to replace the car's paid off. Because what a lot of you are doing is you're taking regular loans, like average people like us, 5-year, 6-year loans. But you're not an average person. You're running a business. When you take a 6-year loan as an Uber driver and you look up in 3 years and you have 120,000 miles on your car, now you're like, okay, I think I want to replace this next year. I'm going to get me a new one. Now you're going to have 150,000 miles. Problem is your loan is still $10, $12, $15,000 that you're going to owe. So you pushed your losses to the back. You looked at the monthly payment. If you'd have just took a 2-year shorter loan, 4-year loan instead, yeah, but the payment's going to be $700 instead of $500. Okay, $200 more a month, but 4 years, you have no negative equity. Not only do you not have negative equity, you got an asset that you could probably sell for $5,000, $6,000. Instead of, oh man, all right, yeah, my payment was $200 a month less, but then when I go to replace the car, I got 15,000 negative equity. So you're jumping over dollars to keep the pennies. That's what you're doing. So your loan should match the time where you're going to replace your inventory. Okay? Good rule of thumb. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Carla, thank you for sharing. I see you. Shout out to the sharers. Shout out to everybody running the likes up on TikTok. Appreciate y'all. It's just good. I just want to show my appreciation to the people who help move this broadcast forward and help us spread this message. We can't do it without you. That's all I want to just say. Go ahead. Matthew Williams, when buying a vehicle, is your credit score taking a hit? And how often are they checking your credit? So we teach something called the bank bidding war. In my book, when you get my book, you get the bank bidding war blueprint because I haven't added it to my book yet. I see you, Pool73 on Instagram. We got you. Make sure you pull Pool's question in. Dolan, shout out to the people on Instagram. When buying a vehicle, is your credit score taking a hit, and how often are they checking your credit? We use something called the bank bidding war. The credit bureaus allow you to actually have multiple banks and credit unions access your credit with a hard pull within a small window of time. 14 to 45 days is what they say. You can Google this and you can prove it to yourself. Now, we don't even want to play with 14 days because I like the idea of making sure if you give me a minimum of 14 days, let's do it in 2 days. Now, they're going to allow you to have multiple people access your credit because they consider that rate shopping. If you're going to get a loan, rate shopping is, I'm going to give Bank of America a chance, credit unions a chance, I'm going to give the dealers, banks a chance, but it has to be within a small period of time. And you cannot go from this dealer, here, run my credit, and then go to this dealer, run my credit. That's not rate shopping. That's car shopping. This dealer here is running your credit, that dealer's running your credit, you're going to get banged out. So what we do is we don't let anyone run our credit until after we've already found the car. See, because the banks don't want you shopping. And my goal is to get you to understand the banks are not your friend. You may think the bank, oh, this is my bank, I've been working with them. Listen, they're not your friend. If they weren't making money on you, they wouldn't be doing business with you. So the money in loans is so big. There's so much money in loans. It's amazing. Why do you think banks are rich? Like, why do you think banks are in the banking business? They don't sell cars, they sell money. So what you want to do is realize that if banks don't want me to shop around, what are they going to start doing to keep me from shopping around? Well, they're going to give me a hard credit pull to get a pre-approval. Who's seen that? Hard credit pull to get a pre-approval. Stay by your keyboard, y'all. Remember, new people, we dialogue here. This is what we do. So you got to stay by your keyboard if you want to get the most out of what we do here. Hard credit pull, pre-approval, it's trash. Because now they've actually pulled your credit with a hard pull. The minute they pull your credit, they start the window of the rate shopping window is open. So that means you only have a certain period of time to have anyone else access your credit before that window closes. And those hard, that, if your credit score is going to drop 10 points for that hard credit pull or 8 points, whatever it is, If you do it again outside of that window, it's going to drop again. So we don't ever do hard credit pulls for pre-approvals. We always need to get a pre-approval with a soft credit pull if it's available. If not, then we use a tool. In my book, I have a calculator I created. It's called the Perfect Budget Calculator. By the way, in that book, I have 5 calculators I created. You can't find them on Google. That alone is worth the price of the book. Different calculators. We counter dealerships with. We buy used cars. You get to a part and you're like, wow, I've never seen a calculator like this. Yeah, because we invented it. So we use the Perfect Budget Calculator. We take the average rate in the market and we budget. The budgeting tool actually tells you exactly what you can spend on a car, gives you multiple goals, so you're always below your maximum, and then you go shop. Because the only purpose for a pre-approval is budgeting. That's it. Just like, you know, we got homeowners on here, right? You own a home? You own a home? Type yes. Homeowner. The only purpose for the pre-qualification is to see what you can afford, right? That's all we need the pre-approval for. So that's why I created the Perfect Budget Calculator, so that you can actually use it. It creates the budget and then you move. I see you, AdWash. Yeah, that's the purpose. So we don't need the loan until we find the car. Just like with the house, I don't need the loan until I find the house. What I need is a pre-approval or a pre-qualification so I can budget. Then I go shop. Once we find the house, or find the car rather, that's when we now come home, we bring that paperwork home, and we let all these banks and credit unions bid, and we compete and let them compete. This person's going to give you 7%. This person's going to give you 5.9%. This person's going to give you 9%. And all of these people are going to compete, and then we let the dealers compete, and we see who wins. We never pick anyone to do our business with until they win a bid. That is the Cars from Home system. Whenever we are buying, that's how we guarantee below market offers, because someone won the bid. You were competing against all these people to get my business, and you won. You were competing to buy my old car, you won. That's how we do. So that's the bank bidding war. You find your car, then you come home, call your bank, your credit union, online dealers, online bank, you let them compete. So when you get my book, you get the bank bidding war blueprint. If you want me to spell this out step by step for you, where those of you who are financing, you'll have 3 rounds of the bank bidding war blueprint. The bank bidding war to make banks compete at various stages, because there's a lot of money and interest. So this is all in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97, but you can get yours for 75% off as part of my welcome offer for 30 minutes only. Go to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or Facebook comments. Click those links. Activate your 75% off. The book is digital, so it'll be in your inbox by the time we end this stream, and you'll have everything I teach step by step. You can use it for, over and over and over again. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. You'll still be saving money from the same $24 book if you get there before the 30 minutes is up. All right. And make sure you screenshot the thank you page, because some of you type your email wrong. You might be, yo, man, I'm trying to hurry up and get this deal. You don't realize you typed your email wrong, and I can't email a book to the wrong email. So screenshot that page so you'll have my support team's email, just in case that book isn't there in 5-10 minutes. Just email my team. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Oh, no, pull my man Pulling from Instagram. Did you see him? We got Ingrid too. It's a lot of people on Instagram, so we're gonna try to get to questions from every platform. Do you ever advise buying the lease at the end because you went way over miles originally allowed? Great question. No, I'm gonna tell you why. The moment you lease your vehicle, your contract says what you should bring the vehicle back with in terms of miles. Let's say average is 36,000 miles, 12,000 per year. They have a buyout price based on that, a residual value based on that. So that means at 36,000 miles, they already know this is what we plan to sell the vehicle for on the market when he brings it back. Let's just call it 18,000. Now, 18,000 is based on 36,000 miles. It may not be a good price. That's why before we actually buy our lease, we always do a market comparison. Is the price I'm going to buy my lease for even a below market price? If I could go get a used car that is similar miles, similar condition, similar features, but I can get it for 2, 3, 4,000 less, then my lease buyout price is overpriced. It's over market. So that's step one. We have to do a market assessment before we even consider buying the lease. But here's the bigger thing about going over miles. Just because you put 20 more thousand miles on it, that purchase price of 18,000 is still based on 36,000 miles. So you got now 60,000 miles. You're going to pay the same 18. You can't go to them and say, well, I got 60,000 miles. Can you lower that to like 14? No. So you're taking what in most cases is an already overpriced offer, and you actually are buying it on a worse offer because the mileage you're on, if you looked at, again, taking it back to the market comparison that I explained 2 minutes ago, if you looked at what are vehicles like this with the mileage I have selling for, I put 60,000 miles on it. You look around and you're like, whoa, those things are selling for 5,000 less than my buyout. That means the moment you buy that car at the buyout price that's on that contract, you literally lost $5,000 right there because you overpaid for it. So the solution is take the penalty. It was your fault. Now, what do I mean it was your fault? You choose your lease mileage. It's not selected for you. If you need 12, you choose 12. If you need 15,000 miles a year, you need 15,000. You take somebody like Jen. Jen's up on the screen right now. She got her Honda CR-V hybrid. $512 a month. She got a below market lease on this. This is one of the most popular hybrid vehicles in the market. $512 a month, no money down. She adjusted it from 12,000 miles a year to 18,000 miles a year. So she's paying $563 a month, $50 more, but she gets to drive as much as she needs to. She's driving 18,000 miles a year for $50 more per month. So a lot of people who you'll hear talk about their lease experience and tell you don't lease, they took the 512. They would look at the lower payment, never adjust it to what they need, and then they end up telling you don't lease because I got a bill for the mileage. No, you got a bill for the mileage because you signed a contract. You said in that contract, I'm going to use this. You had the option at the time of signing the contract to choose more mileage, but you didn't. And then you went over the mileage you drove. So therefore you paid for that. So I would always take the penalty. You can actually do a deal where you actually shop for a car, and the best offer you find, you can actually have them cut a check to the old company. So let's just say I had a $3,000 bill coming, a $3,000 mileage penalty bill coming. I find a car like, let's say I'm shopping like Zafrina. Let's take Ansley. Ansley right here. He got a $58,000 lease on a 2024 QX60. $554 a month. So that's what we call an under 1% lease. You're driving a almost $60,000 vehicle. You're paying $554 a month, no money down. So let's say I got a $3,000 mileage bill. If I'm Ansley, I'm gonna shop, get my best offer, and then I'm gonna say, hey guys, I need you to cut a $3,000 check to my old leasing company, because I don't want to pay that mileage. Now, what's going to happen is my payment is going to go up because they need to build that into the sales price, but I don't need to come out of pocket with it. I don't need to come out of pocket with it. Now, if you could come out of pocket with it and write it, some of you could actually do a payment plan if you want to do that. That's fine too. But I'm talking to the people who you're like, all right, I don't necessarily want to come out of pocket with the penalty that I'm going to get for the mileage. So therefore, let me actually go and make a deal. So you could do a payment plan for the penalty, or you could just have the dealer you're going to buy from cut a check to the old company, to the old bank on your behalf. They'll build that into the sales price, but you shop for your best deal first. Before you do any of this, you always shop for your best deal, identify the 20% dealer, and then work with that dealer on structuring, hey, how much would it cost me to just have you? How much would it raise my payment for you to cut the check to them? Okay. And also, we do an equity assessment, Pooh. Step 2 in my book. Call your leasing company, find out what your payoff is. Go to our 6 sites, not our 6 sites. Go to these 6 sites we get offers from: Carvana, Driveway, Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash, CarMax, Car Gurus and Auto Nation, maybe you can sell the car and come out with a lower penalty based on selling the car. Because if you sell the lease, there's no penalty. So, but you know, if you could sell it for 20, but you owe 21, then you just cover the difference and you pay the 1,000. So again, this is how we work with people. There's a reason people work with me. I'm not just a regular guy, and thank God I spent a lot of time learning this business, and I spent a lot of time in dealerships people can't work at. That's really the fact. A lot of the dealers, when I went to Mercedes, Ray Catena, if I hadn't worked at Ray Catena, I wouldn't know this. I went from being a GM salesman to Ray Catena said, listen, if you're going to work here, you know, we don't have finance managers. You're going to be the finance manager. You're going to have to get the customers approved. You're going to have to understand the rates residuals. This is stuff I didn't do at GM. And so I thank God that was a blessing for me to start my career with Mercedes at Ray Catena. Yankee Stadium, top 3 dealers in the country. You know, so when car salesmen hear me talk, it's like they don't understand it. And I get it. They're not trained the way I was trained. They didn't work where I worked. They were trained to just go get the numbers from the manager. That's why I could explain this from a financial standpoint. And this is what we do. So if you want to understand more about, you know, you want the step-by-step blueprint, grab Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. That's my new digital book, 5-star rated. You can get it for 75% off. It's normally $97, worth every penny. But as my welcome offer to you, you can get it for $24, 75% off if you get to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, or Facebook comments before 30 minutes is up. Once 30 minutes is up, price goes back to $97. Welcome offer is gone, and it's still worth it. If I miss the welcome offer, I'd still be grabbing it because, again, the $24, the $97, the thousands you're going to save on this, the first car, avoiding mistakes and getting below market deals, you'll 10x. Minimum, you'll 10x what you invest in the book. Minimum. It's not even a question. All right. And let's go, Dolan. Keep it going. Great questions today. I'm really liking this. If you're getting value out of the stream, y'all type some dollar signs. You're getting value out of what we're doing. What's up, Leo? What's up, Rick? Shout out to the people tapping in on TikTok. Shout out to the people running the likes up. Y'all keep running the likes up. Every time y'all run the likes up, y'all let TikTok know that we're talking business over here and that they need to get more people over here. So every time you tap the screen, some of you like, how do we run the likes up, Deshone? Just double tap the screen. Just double tap the screen. Yeah, shout out to everybody who is supporting the broadcast. Let's go. Go ahead. All right, and you know what? And I usually look, and here's the thing. I'm going to tell y'all this, and I just thought of this. I'm going to give and prioritize answering questions from the platforms that are the most engaged. Because I see we got people on every platform, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. People not engaged and they not, look, I see a lot of people on Instagram commenting, liking, sharing. I see a lot of people here. Dolan, when we see the question, when we see people engaged, because people be sitting back on the, you know, playing video games and got us on the same time. We got to give our attention to the people who like, yo, let's go. We over here. Thank you, Big Mike. Shout out to the sheriffs. I see you on TikTok. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, here we go. When you lease, can you only deal with that dealership? Well, we never lease without a dealer winning the bid. So I want you to think about it like this. Whatever car you choose and you want to lease, that dealer, that car is all around the country, sprinkled all around the country. That dealer might have more than one, but in the state alone, there might be 10, 15, depends on the car. Now, when you look at the car, do you have to realize it's like when you go into the store and you're looking at spaghetti sauce. You go in the ShopRite, spaghetti sauce is $4.99. You go into Pathmark, it might be $6.99. You go into Stop and Shop, it might be $5.99. The exact same brand, same product, but it's a different price. You go on Walmart.com, you see it's on sale today for $2.99. Different prices at different places. So you don't have to service from there. Whoever wins your bid to buy your car, you don't need to service from there. You literally can buy from who wins the bid. You service from where it's the most convenient. If a dealer an hour away won the bid, that's who you buy from. But that you could service right up the road. Okay, I don't know if that was the question you're asking. If you want to ask a follow-up, Ingrid, feel free to ask a follow-up. Go ahead, Dolan. I see you. She's like, I'm paying attention. Car Merch Corner. Is it a good deal for $13,000 off an MC20 special? I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's just say, right, Sean's thinking like you. Sean's like, man, I got this dealer offering $13,000 off. That sounds good. Well, let's look at his F-150 Lightning XLT. He ended up getting over $20,000 off, almost 21. Had he took 13 from one dealer, he would have been leaving $8,000 on the table. He would have overpaid by $8,000. And this is why I say negotiators pay market value. Because I'm sure you negotiated for that $13,000 off. I'm sure you didn't walk in and just say, hey, give me a price, and they gave you $13,000. You probably spent time, energy, and money to get that $13,000 off. But if Kimberly had done what you did on her Maserati, her $86,000 Maserati, she would say, oh, $13,000 off. That sounds good. That just sounds good. Then she wouldn't have got her $20,700 off. Now, how do we know these are the below market deals? How do we know that $20,000 on Kimberly and Sean's deal was the below market deals? And it was. How do we know it wasn't more money? Like Milligan. Milligan got, using our system, all of these people used our system, but Milligan got one of the biggest discounts I've ever seen. She bought a Mercedes EQE, $27,000 off. You got to zoom in, and I'm gonna, snip this different and zoom in on it. You can see the lines here with the yellow $79,000 vehicle. She ends up getting it for $51,000 after all the discounts and rebates. So how do we know that they were below market? They had all these other offers. That's the key. Kimberly knew this $20,700 off is the best because I have 7 offers higher than this. Different dealers, a lot higher than this. Now, if you told me, Carshare, Deshone, $13,000 off a good deal, I got another dealer who's only giving me 10. I got another dealer who offered me 7 off. I got another dealer who offered me 5 off. Then I would tell you 13,000 is the win. Go ahead, grab it. But because you don't have that, you negotiated versus doing what we do, which is get bids. Now you're at the mercy of trying to hope you're at the bottom. You can't win. You just can't win. That's why negotiators pay market value and not below market value. You can't feel for the bottom. You can only assess the market, multiple offers, get to the bottom, 5 to 7 offers, pick the best one while you relax at home. It's just it. It's just it. Oh, great question. Common question that a negotiator asks. Man, I talked them down this much, Deshone. This got to be good, right? What do you have to compare it to? Nothing. Okay? Get more offers. You could do it your way, call around. You could do it my way. Email, scripts, all in my book. It's up to you. Go ahead, Dolan. When over on mileage, does it make more sense to sell to a place like CarMax? I'm already over, so at this point, it's pay $7,000 or sell to someone else and have a $2,000 difference. My first lease, hard lesson. Great. See, I want to read this question again because see, I'm proud of you for even asking this question and coming at this the way you're coming at it, because that's what you do. When over on mileage, doesn't it make sense to sell to a place like CarMax? I'm already over miles at this point. It's pay $7,000. So if I return the lease now, I got a 7,000 mileage bill coming to me, or sell to someone else and pay the difference. In my book, I teach you how, when you have these types of penalties, or in this case, or in other people's cases, negative equity, you want to sell and pay the difference, because that's going to lead to the lowest amount coming out of pocket. So yeah, if you drop off your lease and they bill you $7,000, but you could have just sold it to CarMax and paid the $2,000 difference, way better way to go. And then, next time, let me get the mileage I need so that I don't have to deal with this again. But for getting out of it, 100%. All day long, I would sell to the highest bidder. That's going to give us the lowest amount of penalty, and then pay the difference and then do a fresh deal. That's it. Way to go. Way to go. That's called See, it's times where I was in Mercedes, right? And I had to sit down with a client and tell him, there's no way for you to escape the bullet. You're going to bite a bullet because the damage is done. The decision was made. Now what we're doing is trying to see what option allows us to have the least out of pocket, the lowest, the smallest bullet to bite. We got to bite a bullet. But $7,000 coming as a bill, that's a big bullet. $7,000 bill that you owe, big bullet. $2,000 to CarMax coming out your bank account, $2,000, small bullet. So the key with these situations is seeing what's the smallest bullet and knowing all the options so that you don't just say, well, I'm over. See, because watch this. Some people would buy that car. And what they would do is they would buy that car, pay, I mentioned this probably about 10 minutes ago, pay the normal buyout price, but except they over miles by, probably 40,000 miles. So a car that should have been 12,000, they buy it for 20, and now they're invested in that car. Financing those losses is horrible. That's a huge bullet. So there's all types of bullets, and what you need to know, and you already know this, but what anyone outside of you needs to understand is, when I got myself in these situations, I need to know every single option for getting out of it. Because if I could have paid $2,000, but I paid $7,000, or I paid $8,000 and financed it, that's just ignorance. That doesn't mean I'm stupid. There's a difference between being stupid and ignorant. Ignorant means I just didn't know. I was not aware, and it cost me. Now, Dave Ramsey calls it a stupid tax. I don't call it stupid. I call it you just didn't know. That's ignorance. That's why I make it my business to tell you all the options. In my book, I lay out all the options. And if you choose the wrong one or do the wrong thing, having all the information, now that's no longer ignorance. So great question. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions. I see you, Shake Wash. Thank you. And it's Mercedes to my husband. Yep. I just said, you do private consultation. Shake Wash. We don't do private consultations. We have two things we do now. We have a do-it-yourself program. That's my book. This is great for do-it-yourself people who, Deshone, give me the blueprint. Give me all the steps. I will follow them to get the result. We have a done with you program where we work with people directly. And it's a different learning style. So instead of the books, we have videos and we have, I'm supporting people. That's a different learning style. You want to find out about that, you can go to my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, or Dolan will post a link, Shop with Deshone, in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. So it's all up to you. In the future, we're working on it right now. We tested it twice. We will launch a done for you program. That's coming. And the way we do it, we shop the entire market. We report the market to you, and then we choose the below market deal. Same thing I'm teaching you to do. So it's all up to, again, who the person is. But our mission was to be the most valuable company to the car buyer. So what we do is we take any style, and our mission is to put solutions out there so that anyone can get to, what they need to get to. So no one has an excuse. If Cars From Home is offering every single way, from an inexpensive way, do it yourself, to a little more of an investment, but it's supported because I don't care, because I know I'm going to save money, and the people around me know working with me, you're saving money. It's not even a question. That's what I'm known for. Before I came to the internet in New Jersey, my friends and family was calling me, listen, I need a car. Listen, they knew, call Deshone, call Deshone, call Deshone. Once I came to the internet, it's like, yo, I don't do that no more, family. Like, I love you, but I'm teaching people. I need thousands of people to know this information. So a couple friends and family said, all right, D, where do I go? What do I sign up for? All right, give me the book. So it's, so the mission is not changed. It's just now we have to help more people. So, but yeah, I mean, there's no one attached to me who knows me who would be like, yo, knowing Deshone hasn't saved me $10, $15, $20,000 just knowing him when it comes to this car stuff. That's what I hold myself accountable to. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Jason Simmons, should I pay for taxes up front on my lease or have it wrapped into the lease payment? I would always shop for a lease with no money down. We shop with only, this is the structure we use when we shop. First month's payment only, out of pocket. because with a lease, you pay at the beginning of the month. So when you see these people, India, when you see these people, Zafrina, Ansley, they all are, when they say no money down, they're paying their first month's payment and then they drive off. If we can get a deal, between 1%, and a lot of these deals are under 1%. Some of ththese people got 0.88%. Zafrina on her Jeep, she got a 0.88% lease, $65,000 vehicle. So what our goal is, under 1.5% is the best offer after, because the lease programs change. So sometimes it's super, very, very hot vehicles, and the lease programs don't have much support. So your best offer is going to be 1.4. You're going to see other vehicles 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. You're going to see other offers, that are a lot higher, but the best dealer might come in at 1.4. Okay, if you really like that vehicle, then I would take it. There's a lot of other vehicles that offer more value to lease, because as you can see, if there's, Charles got a Palisade, very, very hot vehicle. He got as a 1.25, I believe, 1.23, $48,000 vehicle, $597. That's a hot vehicle. Palisade has been hot. Kia Telluride has been hot. So to pay 1.4, 1.5, you have to really, really want that vehicle. But that's the cap. So if we find a vehicle, as long as it's under 1.5, it's good value. It's a deal. Lower the better. But down payment comes to affordability. That's all that matters when it comes to down payment. That's all. If you look and you say, all right, I shopped all my offers, I can see right. Let's just go back to Charles. Let's use Charles for an example on his Palisade. Let's say you're Charles. You use our system, you get all your offers, you see that your payment is $597 a month for this Palisade, $48,000, no money down. You might say, all right, I really want my payment to be, you already know this is a deal. It's already a deal. I could do no money down, but I want my payment to be really $500. All right, I'm gonna put money down and get it to $5. That's when you put money down. That's how you put money down. Money down is never buying your deal. And for too many of you, money down buys your deal, which is not a deal. You think, well, what's the payment if I put this down? You're not looking and basing it off of, man, I got a below market price. You're trying to buy your way into the deal. That's why when a car salesman talks to you, what's one of the first questions they ask you? When you look at a car, right? One of the first questions that they're going to ask you is what? Once you pick a car out, what are they going to ask you? Let's give everybody some time to type. What are they going to ask you? Thanks, AJID. I see you. Thanks, Big Mike. Shout out to the sharers on TikTok. And you know what? I might do this. We might prioritize people that share on TikTok. If you share and then you ask your question, you get first priority. Let me know if we can manage that, Dolan. Because I want to reward the people that share. Like, I want to reward the people that share. Good. Yes, how much you putting down? Now watch this. How much do you want your monthly payment to be? Yes, good one, Shake Wash. That's the related question because the car salesman wants to see, are you a payment shopper? Am I talking to a payment shopper? A payment shopper is trying to get to a certain payment. They're not concerned with how much the car costs. You could overcharge me for the car. That doesn't matter. Get me to my payment. That's why being a payment shopper is a dangerous way to move. That's why the way we shop no money down because it allows you to see what you're truly paying for the car. So now when we consider that there are going to be people who want us to get into monthly payments, now they're trying to get us to realize, well, you got a deal because I got you to your payment. No, you didn't. The deal is, did you pay market value, below market value, or above market value, regardless of the payment? If somebody went into a Bentley dealer, if we got a bunch of prices on Bentleys, all of us just got a bunch of prices on Bentleys, and we got a $200,000 Bentley, and they took off $100,000, $50,000 off. 50% off. We'd all be looking like, wow, okay, out of all these offers, that deal, this is it right here. The payment's gonna be $3,000 a month. The payment has nothing to do with whether it's a deal or not. So when we look at putting money down, it is only for our affordability. The deal process of getting a deal has nothing to do with the process of monthly payment association. Nothing to do with it. We need to find the dealer who's going to sell us the car for the lowest amount of money. If I'm buying a pre-owned car out of a 100-mile radius, what dealer is going to sell me the best pre-owned car for the lowest price on the market? If I'm leasing a Honda Accord, what dealer is going to sell me the Honda Accord within a 100-mile radius for the lowest price? If I'm buying a brand new, Kia Telluride, what dealer within 100 miles is going to sell me the Kia Telluride at the lowest price? If I'm getting a loan, what bank or credit union within 100 miles of me is going to give me the lowest rate on the market? If I'm selling my car, not trading, I got this old car, I need to replace it. I'm not trading it into a dealer. What company that buys cars, pays cash, is going to pay me the highest amount for this old car? Y'all clear? This is bidding. We have a bidding system. That's what Cars from Home is. So if you want to know all of this, you want the entire blueprint, everything that Jafrina and Teddy and Jen and all these people I've showed, Raphael, during the stream have used to get to their below market deals, you want to grab your copy of Cars from Home, my new digital book, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's normally $97, but my welcome offer to you for the next 30 minutes, 75% off. You can get your copy for $24 if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments before 30 minutes is up. You'll pay $24. Make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page. The book is on the thank you page. You'll see a link that says open the book below, and I also email you a copy. But sometimes you're just moving too fast. You type your email wrong. We can't email a book to an incorrect email. So if that book isn't in your email in 5-10 minutes, I want you to email my support team so they can get your book to you, and you'll have these strategies for the rest of your life. And shout out to everyone who's reviewed the book. Use it. Make sure you email me your deals when you make them. Send me send me the list. Hey, D, look at what I got, man. I got all these offers. Look, man, and I know you did it when you say, hey, I did it. 90% was from the house. Soon as I know the people who use it, because the minute I've seen people who say, man, I went in the dealership, I used all your stuff, and I got this deal. No, you didn't. Sorry, somewhere along the lines you missed it. You might have been trying to go off my social media videos, but you didn't use our system because we're not making deals in the dealership. When I see people that say, yeah, man, the dealer 45 minutes away, I had to drive to get this. There you go. You use the system. When they say, yeah, I did this all from home, they even delivered the car to me. Yeah, you use the system. And you say, man, I looked at 17 used cars. I narrowed it down, and this one had this original price. Yeah, you use the system. It's stuff I hear that I could tell when people use the system. So go grab your copy. Shout out to everybody who checked in. We'll see you on another stream. Keep on learning so that you can relearn. God bless.